Yeah, it is incredible, but it's hard as shit. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Xbox Ultimate Podcast, episode number 104. Wow, what a week it's been. Last week was a pretty big week, and then this week is another big week for gaming news, and especially involving Xbox and future dealings and current games and future games and all these different things. It's insane. But and we're going to be joined, obviously, by this amazing panel. But I want to take a first say thank you to the amazing chat. As always, you guys make this an amazing Friday night, and we have a blast. And I'm glad that Psycho's here as well, because he's not going to be here for a few weeks.
Yes.
So it's going to be sad. We're going to miss him. He's going to be gone out of state. Doing some things, so we are going to miss you for a few weeks, bro. But next week we're going to have you on PM and the PM as a guest there to be able to say bye for a few weeks until you get back, at least. You know?
Sure.
So I'll say before, because Kate's not here yet, she is on her way. But we'll start with you with the intros and say hello to Mr. Mellow Fellow from outer space, the one and only Psychonauts. What's up, man?
What's up, everybody? How's everyone's day been going? This has been an interesting freaking week that we've had, and glad to be talking about it with my friends. So let's get into it.
Absolutely, dude. And then we also have the always fuzzy one himself, Felix the Cat, Fuzzy Belvedere. What's up, dude? How are you doing?
Doing good, man. What's up, everybody? Glad to be here. So much gaming news to kind of dive into. Let's get it.
Right on, man. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff to talk about. Then we also have the realist one, the oh shit, what happened to my screen? Our Lore Master himself, the Debbie Downer, who may have a different positive take today. It's going to be interesting to see where we go with this. Himself. What's up, Lore Master Jasper? How's it going,
I'm a little confused right now because when I look at the YouTube video, I'm on the left side of the screen. Usually I'm like in the middle or on the right or something. Like I'm just like wondering what happened there, but it's been going all right.
Is that better?
I don't.
I'll put you in the bottom right.
I thought you liked it in the middle.
Do you like it? Where do you want to be? Just tell me. Do you want to be in the middle?
It doesn't matter. It was just
I mean, you're complaining right now, so you know what I mean. Like, I just want to make sure that we address this situation before we continue with the show.
You do you, boo. You just put me wherever you want.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Jasper. I appreciate you being here as always, bro. And we also have the let's see. I got to come up with a different name because he hates this one. The Dictionary of Gaming, dating back to the last generation of games, the one and only Pong Soul. Is that better, Pong? Or
no, it's on the same level, so it really doesn't matter.
Well, it's actually worse. I mean, the Encyclopedia of Gaming dating back to...
Encyclopedia is actually knowledge, so whatever. Yeah. Just do your thing.
Okay, everybody, welcome the Encyclopedia of Gaming, dating back to the very first game ever created, the one and only Pong Soul.
You know what? I just want to thank everybody tonight on this panel for not being drunk in any way, shape, or form. I appreciate that for being professionals and showing up proper so we can have a proper conversation this evening. Listen, everybody, it is great to be here. It is Friday. It has been one long-ass week of nonstop work, and I am happy to be here with my brothers and hopefully Caton soon enough to talk about all the craziness that happened this week. Actually, pretty much all yesterday in one day, but we did have some other cool stuff happening as well. And chat, you're all looking absolutely amazing for a Friday night. I can all tell that you have your Friday night best on. You guys are going out, having a good time here at Xbox Ultimate. Appreciate you all. And Mav, let's get down to business.
Yeah, bro. Let's get down to the business here. We'll start with everybody's favorite topic, the CMA and Phil Spencer and Activision Blizzard and acquisitions and what's going on with Call of Duty and the future of that franchise, because we got even more information today. Interesting. Phil actually replied, it seems like, to Tom Warren, who asked a question, which is pretty cool. And this was regarding stuff that happened back in January. Now, if you all remember back in January, this is right after the acquisition was announced. Sony made a big stink about it, actually, publicly. And we're like, well, we expect Microsoft to honor these contracts for Call of Duty, and we expect them to maintain this franchise on our platform, blah, blah, blah. And then publicly, right after, Phil Spencer came out. He's like, hey, we had a good talk over there with the guys over at Sony. And rest assured them that Call of Duty will still be there. And everything is gravy, baby.
Phil does not sound like
no,
that at all.
No, it doesn't sound like this.
No.
No. Okay. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'm trying to change the voice mid-sentence now into something else that would be better. However, whatever. Like, Phil made these comments publicly and stuff. And since then, since the CMA has decided they're moving this into phase 2, which we all expected, the ludicrous aspect of this all was a actual wording that they used to describe the reasoning of moving it into phase 2. There was a response from Phil Spencer on a Microsoft blog, and there was also responses from Brad Smith, who is the main attorney at Microsoft working on these dealings, and also Bobby Kotick responded. And it was very all interesting stuff, but there seemed to be some questions now potentially about what the future of Call of Duty is, because people are making a thing out of potentially nothing. Maybe we'll see here. It's interesting discussion though. Just to give some clarity on what I'm talking about with Tom Warren at The Verge, who's an excellent writer actually and a great journalist. I do recommend his articles over several other in the gaming industry for sure. He had reached out and says that basically, if I can find this exact quote. Bear with me, guys. Okay, so I'm just going to read this, that Microsoft is committing to keeping Call of Duty on PlayStation for several more years beyond the existing marketing deal Sony has with Activision. Microsoft Gaming CEO and Xbox chief Phil Spencer made the commitment in a written letter to PlayStation head Jim Ryan earlier this year, and it's the clearest sign yet that Call of Duty won't suddenly disappear from PlayStation platforms if the deal is approved by regulators. So, and this is the quote from Phil Spencer himself. He said, in January, we provided a signed agreement to Sony to guarantee Call of Duty on PlayStation with feature and content parity for at least several more years beyond the current Sony contract. An offer that goes well beyond typical gaming industry agreements, says Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer in a statement to The Verge. Then Tom goes on to say exactly how many years Call of Duty is guaranteed on PlayStation still isn't crystal clear, but Bloomberg originally reported earlier this year that Microsoft was committed to releasing Call of Duty on PlayStation for at least the next 2 years, suggesting that Sony's marketing deal for the franchise could expire in 2024. Microsoft then publicly committed in February to keeping Call of Duty available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement and into the future. So now a bunch of hullabaloos going on online regarding the statements now from Phil Spencer saying several more years, basically saying that, well, he's a liar because he said that it's going to be there ongoing, and people are questioning the integrity of him because of a deal that he had signed and sent to Jim Ryan and Sony back in January. Might I add, before any of the regulators even went over this deal and asked any questions. And in my opinion, personally, this was, to get this out there, kind of an act of good faith with Sony right after the deal was announced, because there was a little bit of a freak out there, and they reached out and they said, look, we're willing to go ahead and sign this to let you know that even beyond the industry standard, right, as stated here, for several more years, and you can't necessarily anticipate they're going to guarantee something for forever and perpetuity. No company does that, right?
No.
Like, that doesn't happen, right? So when you're actually writing a contract or something like that, you're almost like guaranteeing you're going to be even making the games, right? And things like this. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this. And basically he's saying that, hey, we're going to have this for several more years. Now there's a lot of questions like, oh, well, what does that mean? No, they're going to pull it from Call of Duty after 4 years and all these things. So There's a lot of questions about it. However, I think it's a bunch of hullabaloo over nothing, honestly. He was just being transparent. And the fact that they did actually sign something already with Sony that is actually above the industry standards for franchises and games like this. So I'm curious, actually, what you think about this, Pong, because you're already chiming in a little bit. So I've seen a lot of this take, honestly, with people questioning, and even IGN. Dan Stapleton himself,
of course,
has
weird. Stapleton,
chimed in on this,
right?
You know, things like this are going on with people questioning this deal now and the integrity that Microsoft may have with maintaining Call of Duty as a PlayStation game as well. So, what do you say to those that are questioning this right now, Pong Soul?
You're all effing crazy, is what I would say, because again, I don't know what. First of all, I'm not an attorney. I'm not Hogue. Okay, so bear with me here. But the first thing I thought about this would just be like a letter of intent, is all it would be.
Right.
Phil can't sign contracts for Activision yet. They're not even supposed to have any dealings. I'm surprised Phil mentioned this, because I mean, I'm sure he got approval, obviously, from the attorneys and from everybody else. But I got to think that this is right on the cusp of the cliff when you're in an active acquisition and you're not supposed to be performing any kind of business for that company yet in any way, shape, or form. You're supposed to be two separate entities solely performing on your own. So to me, this has got to be right up to the edge. So it would just be a letter of intent, but you're all effing crazy. No company is going to commit themselves to forever when nobody has a real crystal ball. Nobody has a time machine to go see what's going to happen. Who the hell knows what Call of Duty is going to be 10 years from now? Who knows what it's going to be 5 years from now? The entire market could have changed by that point. Maybe Sony wouldn't even want it after a certain point, right? Who knows? So, of course, Phil's not going to back himself in a corner and write some letter of intent to Jim saying, as long as PlayStation is around, we'll put Call of Duty on it. That's not how you do business in any industry. You never make that type of forever commitment to especially another company who is a competitor in the same industry when you are just doing a goodwill gesture at this point to ease some of the fears that are out there. That's all this should be taken as. Everybody who wants to read into this stuff is trying to create a story where there is no story. The same thing that we saw, Mav, when Phil officially said that Call of Duty and Overwatch and Diablo were all going to come to Game Pass. Like, who the hell didn't know that?
Right.
Like, but there was
that was all over the place yesterday. Yes. Call of Duty is coming to Game Pass. Bob, let's just sound the alarms. Yes, that's amazing. Holy shit, who would have thought after they acquired Activision Blizzard, are they seriously going to give us Call of Duty? Really? In Game Pass?
$70 billion. They weren't going to put it in the Game Pass.
Holy shit, I would never have thought that. That's insane. I'm going to make sure I tweet like, holy crap, Call of Duty's coming to Game Pass in the future. Oh my God, breaking news, alarm bells. Let's go.
I know. This is where we're at in 2022. This shit is created news stories that people want to run with. And obviously, there's enough people out there who feed into it, that listen to these, podcasts or listen to these different interviews and go on to these articles and click and all that kind of stuff. So we know how this works nowadays, but this is all manufactured. This is garbage. This is nonsense. Again, the fact that Phil has been as public as he has been with as much information as they have been, on top of admitting that he wrote some type of letter of intent or whatever you want to call it to Jim Ryan personally, saying that not worry about this. My God, be happy with that. You guys should be out here going, holy shit, Phil is a different type of CEO. Microsoft and Xbox right now are doing things that we don't see in this industry. Can you ever imagine if Sony wrote some kind of letter of intent to Microsoft after they bought Square Enix and said, don't worry, guys, we're going to get Final Fantasy to you. Don't worry. What? That ain't going to ever happen. No, Microsoft and Xbox are doing some things that are very different right now. Again, yes, there is a purpose behind it. They're not doing this just out of the goodness of their heart, but there is a piece of this that is goodwill towards the industry, which Phil has talked about many times. He doesn't want to see Sony die off. He does not want to kill off Sony. He wants the strength of what they have right now with Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox all being players in this industry. Now, of course, does he want Xbox to be the number one? Yeah, absolutely. But does he want to wipe out Nintendo and Sony? Nope. Because that's going to leave a huge void, and then Microsoft will be under the scope of a monopoly. They don't want that. They want a strong industry. This is the same thing that Microsoft did way back in the day when they were under actual monopoly suits, when they helped Apple come back to life again, because they needed a competitor to be there to balance it out so that the regulators weren't just seeing Microsoft all alone. They know this. They know this. They've got history with this type of stuff. So they are doing this for a reason. But it is some goodwill as well. But again, this stuff that we saw today, again, it was cool. I was shocked when I read that. I thought it was going to be the same article from The Verge, and that's why I posted our DMs, because I went in the article and I'm like, wait, no, he's actually saying like there was some kind of letter sent. Like this is in writing. This wasn't just a phone call. This was actually in writing. Okay, well, this is new.
I think also, Pong, this was probably purposeful at the time to try and like let Sony know so they weren't going to challenge this as hard to the regulators potentially. But I think they knew that they were. But if you put that in place ahead of time, it still gives ammunition down the line when you're talking about these regulators. Look, we've already signed this letter of intent to them a long time ago. What are you talking about? Right? Like,
for sure,
it adds fuel
for
to the
sure.
fire.
It was just grease their palms a little bit and try to get Jim and the Sony board to calm down a little bit as their stock was dropping dramatically after the acquisition.
It was an act of good faith, right?
Yeah, it was just an act of good faith to try to kind of calm them down. But at the end of the day, Sony's doing what they need to do, as we talked about, to protect their business interests, no matter how bad it looks to all of us. All the things that have been said, they're just simply trying to protect their number one spot, which any good business leader and team is going to do. They're not just going to give this up. They're not giving up the throne willingly. No king's going to do that. You're going to have to take them down. So that's all they're doing right now. But yeah, I just think that this whole hubbub about this was a little bit overblown here.
I was struggling to like figure out who was actually mad. I was like, is it Sony people's mad? Is it Microsoft people's mad? It's like, it's the game's coming to PlayStation. The game's still on Xbox. Who the hell cares?
Because they think that everything is some kind of hidden meaning when it comes to Phil. They always think that Phil is lying through his teeth, and that what he really means when he says, "Well, we even said beyond a few years beyond the contract that's in place right now." They're like, "Yeah, but how many? Does that mean 2? Does that mean 4? When are you going to pull the rug, Phil? When are you going to pull the rug? When is it just going to be an exclusive?" See, everybody wants that to happen so they have something to bitch about. But at the end of the day, we know that that's, again, Call of Duty is the hyper focus here. But as we've all talked about on different shows and here,
it's not Microsoft's focus.
It's not Microsoft's hyper focus at all. It's not. They don't care. They're going to put this thing on Nintendo. I guarantee you, Phil was not lying.
It used to be on Nintendo.
Right. Yeah. They're going to put it back over there. They're going to expand Call of Duty out. That's what they want to do. Now, the
playable via the cloud on Nintendo, probably. Something like that.
Exactly. They're going to grow Call of Duty. They think of Call of Duty the same way they think of Minecraft. They really do. It's a platform unto itself. And they're going to make the most money out of that thing that they possibly can. Guaranteed. That's what they're here for.
Yeah. I agree 100%. I think the whole thing out there, like, and nobody knows exactly what that deal is going to be and how long Call of Duty is going to potentially be exclusive, except for whatever consent forms they end up having to sign with the regulators, right? That's going to determine things more than anything else right now. Nothing that Phil says to the public right now, nothing that was signed in the past to Sony as an act of good faith. None of this matters until there's an actual consent that is signed and agreed to that becomes legal between the regulation committees around the world and Microsoft, right?
And if Microsoft really wanted to just like fuck them, they could just be like, we're not making any more Call of Duty. We're going to call it War Shooter now, and that's our new game.
Correct.
Exactly.
Right.
Correct. There's always ways around it. Yeah, absolutely, Jasper. 100.
Call of Booty coming near you. It's now a pirate game.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, unlock your pirate flags and flintlocks and let's go. Sail the 7 seas and let's have a pirate battle. Call of Booty coming near you.
Yeah, Jasper would be all in if there was penis bullets. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't talk about that. That's only for the game streams.
He always gets hit by those in Battlefield. It's weird.
Right in his ass. Right in his ass.
Yeah.
No one's watching my backside, so
Somebody is. Fuzzy, what's up, man? So what are you making about this whole thing with the Phil's comments to The Verge and but do you think there's purposeful misleading here? It seems like people are making it out to be on social media right now.
I think a lot of people on the social media are taking 2 and 2 and coming up with something like 11 or something just for no reason at all. They keep on looking at like what they did with Bethesda versus what they're saying with Call of Duty, and they have to understand it's 2 totally different arrangements. And as far as when it comes to like Bethesda, just backtrack just a little bit. They had 2 outstanding contracts that they honored. Deathloop, which is kind of a sore spot now because we should be hearing something about that coming to Xbox, and we only hearing about it coming to PS Plus. And then you have Ghostwire Tokyo. So they held to their verbal agreement and the actual written contract as far as honoring those. And then everybody's still kind of butthurt on the other side as far as when it comes to Starfield. Well, when is that coming to PS5? And it's like, well, no, it's an Xbox exclusive. And it just seems like, I guess, because that's exclusive, and he said that we're not going to pull games away from existing platforms, which the whole meaning behind that was if it already exists, like Fallout 76 on a PS5, you're going to maintain that game. It's not like it's going to be delisted and permanently pulled type of deal.
Yeah.
So when they look at Call of Duty, it's already an existing title. And sure, it could be exclusive and still survive, but why do that when the thing is one of the hottest selling games in the industry? Why not leave it everywhere and just have it in Game Pass to 1, grow your numbers, and 2, to have it be a more of an attractive thing to the ecosystem in general. So keeping it on the PlayStation 5 is fine, but I don't think those that are mad at him about, well, for how long, or asking all these extra questions for no reason, seem to understand that from a business standpoint, they're just trying to make as much money. Much like what Pong said, they're going to do their best to squeeze every dollar out of that IP, much like they did with Minecraft. But I just think that a lot of people just want to trap Phil in some sort of like gotcha moment. It feels like the whole Tomb Raider, 1 year exclusive. Well, when is it coming over to PlayStation? And it's like these questions are never publicized to the nth degree like they are when it's a PlayStation related, exclusivity type of deal. I mean, you already hear the crickets. You still hear the crickets about the whole Final Fantasy VII. There are a few on the Xbox platform that are like, hey, when is that coming? Because you kind of hinted that it may be a year, and now it's 2 years and still nothing, and no press is really talking about it. It's like, oh, it's crickets over there. But if it was the other shoes on the other foot and Final Fantasy was on Xbox and not on PlayStation, you best believe there would be pitchforks and torches over at Redmond looking for Phil's head type of deal. So it for the most part, the outrage against Phil and his statements and things along those lines is always going to exist as long as Xbox actually competes, which they asked for all this time. They're like, well, Xbox should really compete. Well, now they're doing that. And now it's like they want the guy that's helping them compete fired for no apparent reason other than, well, it's not fair that you're trying to, outdo our current or preferred platform type of deal. But yeah, Phil's statements, it's clear as day. They're going to try to keep Call of Duty on the PlayStation platform. They really want to push it in Game Pass, which if I was just PlayStation only, I either ask for the Game Pass app or ask for a browser, one of the two. And then you have no problems to worry about, because then you can either access the games via the browser deal with Game Pass, or you could just have an app. But knowing Sony, you're better off just asking for the browser instead of trying to, trap Phil into some sort of gotcha moment comment or quote or something along those lines. But it's just the normal Twitter nonsense, I guess you could say.
Yeah, for sure. Psycho, what about you, man? First off, hey, baby. I don't know if you're there right now.
Yeah, hello.
Welcome to the show. First in my heart, lovely wife, Caitlin.
Thank you.
Hi, Caitlin.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Caitlin.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi,
how's it going?
Psycho.
Hey, I
We're-
like your leopard print smiley face.
Thank you.
We're talking about like some of the boring stuff that you don't necessarily care as much about right now,
Oh,
and then
okay,
we'll
I'll
get into
go,
hate.
fine.
No, it's okay. No, stay.
What
But no, I want to get Psycho's opinion on this too. Like the as far as where the meaning is from this, do you think there's any like definite answer right now for how many years they plan to bring Call of Duty to PlayStation, or do you think it's just kind of up in the air depending on what the future holds, and that's why they don't really have any kind of clear, detailed answer right now?
Yeah, definitely. You can't sit there and definitely say this game will be on your platform for the next 5 years, because we don't know if it's going to be viable, that it's even people are even playing it anymore, to the point, after a while, it start losing its fan base. So you can't sit there and say, oh yeah, it's going to be there for the remainder of the PlayStation life. It'll always be there. You can't do that. That's, like Pong says, it's not smart business sense. So the fact that they are even saying that it's going to be there for a couple of years after,
Well, they've even said several, actually. I mean, several means more than, for me, several means more than 2 or 3. You know what I mean? There's a couple,
not sneaky
a few,
Phil, Mav.
you know,
Not sneaky Phil.
it's
Could mean
it's
like 6
interesting.
months, man.
Right.
He could mean 6
well.
months.
Let me read this from. This is why I brought up IGN's Dan Stapleton earlier, because it was just like kind of trying to stoke the fires, which I can usually anticipate from IGN as well. But this is kind of the sentiment that's out there, right, Psycho? He said, well, here's an interesting update to this. Phil didn't say many years or indefinitely. He said several years. What's the difference between many years and several years, right? How many is several? More than a couple, fewer than a bunch, or a lot? This makes it sound like there's an end date for Call of Duty on PlayStation. So basically saying that it makes it sound like there's an expiration date for it right now. And that's the kind of stuff that is being permeated throughout the community. And mind you, this is basically the executive editor of IGN, right? The biggest media outlet in gaming, saying this.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the thing. What if it's saying we don't know if it's going to be around because maybe the development team wants to get off of Call of Duty and do something on their own. So, you know what I mean? You can't say and look into a crystal ball and be like, yes, I have the answer. It's indefinite. Again, you can't, because Xbox could be like, you know what? We're going to shelve Call of Duty for a couple of years. Let it, let the teams work on something else, and then we can go back to it somewhere down the road. Anything's possible. Who knows? Because we seen things that Xbox has done that makes you scratch your head, like, why are they doing this? I mean, look at what's happening with Halo with 343. It's like certain things you're like, okay.
I mean, you can already tell what the next argument is going to be about that next year, is because Call of Duty's already came out and said that we're moving to 2-year cycles. So next year, when Microsoft buys it, the news media is going to be like, Xbox has already canceled the next Call of Duty because it didn't come out this year. It's like they've already said it's 2
They're
years
already
before.
hurting PlayStation. They're doing this on purpose,
exactly.
right? They're cutting off their cash flow, right? Yeah, I can see that.
And that's the stupid narrative that the media does right now, because it's, Sony, yes, PlayStation is the market leader, so everyone's looks at PlayStation and that's where Call of Duty is. Not no more. So that cash flow that Sony was getting from the game is now being cut off. I shouldn't say cut off, but is dramatically going to be reduced, because they're going to have some kind of deals going on with marketing, and whatnot. And so we're still going to have the game on the PlayStation platform, but we just don't know how long. I mean, it's just what it is. Yeah, buy a $70 billion company, and and as good faith. I mean, if this was Sony flipped, Sony day one exclusive. We all know that. They would not even bad and
No,
knocking.
not true. Not true. Not anymore. Destiny is staying. So not anymore. We don't.
Well,
know that.
Destiny is staying because of Bungie, not
but we
because
know,
of Sony.
yeah. But I'm saying that Sony's changing their ways too a little
Yeah.
bit. You got to give them a little bit of leeway now, Psycho. It's not the
Okay.
old, you know what I'm saying? Because they
Yeah,
are
I
they
guess.
are conscientious of having other obviously other streams of income coming in from games outside of just their first party stuff as well. If they got something like Call of Duty, I'm not so sure they wouldn't leave it multi-plat. They would certainly get exclusive stuff, right? And they would have some day and
Yeah.
date stuff that they wouldn't give Xbox for sure. But I think overall they might still keep.
Yeah, that whole parody thing that Phil talked about would be out the window probably.
That would be out the window. Yes, for sure. I get what you're saying.
It needs to
though.
run
It
better on
makes-
PlayStation 5, right? That kind of thing, potentially,
Yes,
like
yes, 100%.
That could be a thing too. It could be that it stays on the PS5, but the PS6, that's a whole different story. We won't have it on.
Yeah, and that's what they're afraid. That's what the CMA actually kind of brought up as well. And I think that's why there's going to be these concessions, and that's the phase that they're at right now with the CMA potentially is this back and forth discussion with them, answering these questions, figuring out, like Brad Smith said himself, we're ready to move on and answer the questions and address these issues with the CMA, because CMA came out publicly posturing like an emoji queen. Right. And now they're on to this next step to appease the drama that they have created.
I
right.
just don't know why the Country Music Awards has anything to do with this.
Not the only thing that I do question is that with Sony, that are they going to continue to do the exclusive rights to, like, we already seen the Hogwarts quest.
Yeah, they aren't being challenged at all from that. That's the hypocrisy, Psycho, is because while, like, basically if I was Sony, I would have second thought this decision on some of these letters, because basically they're like challenging the fact that their business and their entire existence is dependent on marketing rights for one game, right? And that's what they're challenging. They're like, look, if they get this and they put this in their service, we're fucked. Like, they can't do that. And guess what? We need the marketing rights for brand awareness, because that's our cash cow. If we don't have this, we're doomed. Save us, please, CMA. And that's pretty much their argument. Now, the funny thing is that's such an easy argument to battle against when they are actually doing the same practices against Microsoft to actually keep them down for 10 years or so. And actually has impacted Xbox and impacted the competition in the market and propelled them to number one with brand awareness for all these different types of games that, guess what? You can only find them on PlayStation, right? There's a reason for that.
Yeah, Mav, let me add this too, because Hogue brought it up on another show that I was recently listening to, which he said hardly anybody has touched on, because so many people were talking about the Brazilian comments that they didn't look deeper at those. Because part of the CMA's argument, remember we talked about it last night, that Hogue said the one place you could attack if you wanted to try to attack Microsoft and Xbox
with the cloud
acquisition, the cloud and Game Pass as being separate from the whole, right? As being separate entities instead of a part of just a different, an alternative access point to gaming, right? If you separated those, then argument, Hogue still thinks it's a weak argument, but you could potentially state that you could project out. Well, what he said was in the Brazilian documents, they asked Sony specifically if they considered xCloud and Game Pass separate. And interestingly enough, Sony said no.
Yeah, because they have their own subscription service that they know they're going to have in the future, and they can't say that.
Right. They can't say that because they don't want to be judged the same way down the road in the future, right? They knew that. But Hogue pointed that out on another show, and I think it was, it was something that all of us missed. I mean, we weren't reading the documents like he was, but he said that that's in there. So the CMA's argument, now, if they try to go that route, they have Sony themselves stating that no, it's all part of the same.
Which also in the CMAs, even the information where they brought it to the cloud, they said it all tied back into affecting Sony the most, right? Correct. So and that was Sony being the victim in this whole deal by the CMA, when you're not supposed to just be out to protect the industry leader, right? And the other issue with the cloud whole narrative is you have Google and Amazon also, and Apple all in the space of potentially doing stuff in this market. Apple has a subscription service, right? Google has a subscription service, and they actually are very successful and make a lot of money. And the part of the question was, is mobile part of the same gaming ecosystem? And the answers to that from a lot of the publishers was yes. Gaming as a whole is all tying into one thing. And in the future, it's going to be less blended. You could have a TV just like Xbox has their application with Apple Gaming app, right? You could have the Google app where you have your access to your Android games. Guess what? They might start selling these AAA games in those storefronts as well, potentially from third-party publishers once they have the Google tech and the cloud and everything working properly as well as they want as well, right? Also part of the whole cloud issue with the EU originally was the licensing terms that they had, which they've already addressed as well, right? There's all these different things that they've had to address to make sure that that isn't going to be the thing that holds this up. And the future of the cloud is even up in the air. Now, I think that with AAA gaming and everything like that, like Microsoft has a clear lead with this avenue because they have the only major AAA gaming subscription service that is successful in a very big way right now, right?
Going back to that mobile thing, we're seeing a lot of companies nowadays actually port their AAA games to mobile devices. Apex Legends, Call of Duty Warzone's coming to it. Battlefield's making a version of it. So these games are coming to mobile devices, and that just limits the exclusivity on everything else too that they can argue.
What did PlayStation just do? They acquired a Savage Game Studio to make a AAA action adventure game. Right. And this whole industry is changing. Sony knows it, everything. But this whole argument from Sony, again, is not because they don't see the future for themselves as well. It's because they just want to make sure they keep COD on PlayStation as long as possible because it's a huge cash cow for them. And I can't blame them for trying to do what they're doing. But I can look at the regulators and the language that they're using and the copy and paste of Sony's one challenge, who's the only people out there actually even trying to raise hell about this, right? As their only argument when they're making this public. It just shows how weak their argument is in the first place. That doesn't really hold up. If your only thing is the industry leader saying, please don't hurt us.
Because like Luke Steele pointed out, the first phase has such a low barrier to get through, and they don't know anything. They don't understand the industry. The second phase is where all the education goes on, and that's up to Microsoft and Xbox's attorneys to educate the CMA why this is not an issue and to get down to the nitty-gritty with the details of the industry and explain to these people who don't know a damn thing. And they didn't know, most of them probably didn't know Call of Duty outside of their kids talking to them about it, right? So again, that's where the second phase comes in, and that's why everybody suggested that it would automatically go to the second phase or whatever.
Big deal. It was gonna.
Different.
Right?
Yeah, it's too big of a deal to say, nah, just let it go through. No, all these places are going to take a look at this. So for sure.
All right. Well,
unless you're Saudi Arabia.
Well, there's a few other countries also that have already passed it too. So we don't know all of them.
Some places have other ways of getting things passed a little easier. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. I mean,
to be honest, Saudi Arabia might understand it the best because they actually invest in gaming companies.
That's
right. And they're now invested in Bracer, right? They're major investors in Bracer, so they're like, I
think they got Nintendo in there. All kinds of stuff.
Get big, Microsoft. We're cool with that. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're gonna keep selling games on your services. 100%.
Exactly.
We're going to get into a different topic now, guys. And this is going to be one that is a lot of people's on their minds today. And this is, man, I was watching Xbox 2 earlier. And wow, that got a little spicy at some point. So Rand and Jess, that chat was all over the place, dude. So shout out to a great show, obviously, with two great hosts over there. But yeah, I was like, this topic got a lot of conversation. And funny enough, me and Kate were in the car line. Ready to pick up our daughter, and Kate was getting fiery there, like for a little while. Like,
you guys almost divorced?
No,
in the car lane. That would,
But
I want a fucking divorce, asshole.
She was getting a little defensive here, and I was like, okay, I like this. You know what I mean? I get now where we're going with this. Obviously, what I'm talking about now is Halo, right? Halo Infinite. We got the roadmap. We've got the highly anticipated winter roadmap coming for Halo Infinite. We got the information for season 3 and split screen co-op, everything that we were waiting to see. And and more maps and all this stuff. And it was a very interesting day yesterday regarding Halo Infinite, because there was some disappointment there mixed in with there's some silver linings, I'll say. But it was interesting watching this breakdown and everything going from Halo, talking about, oh, we're sorry, we apologize again. We know we haven't had the best year. So what we're doing is we're focusing on the core things and reworking and make sure that these are our principles, and that's what we're going to focus on for a while, guys. So it's taking us a while to get season 3 out. So guess what? Season 3 isn't coming until March now. I know it already got delayed 3 months originally because it was supposed to be a 3-month season. We made it a 6-month, but now it's a 10-month. But don't worry, we're going to give you a match XP beta in the in-between for 30 tiers, and we're giving you a couple Forge maps, but also Forge is coming in November. Campaign co-op is coming in November, but you know that split screen co-op mode we've been promising for years now, that's going to be in every Halo ongoing. That was actually said from our head of our studio, Bonnie Ross, that was always going to be important now going on for Halo, and we promised you it was coming. Well, we decided it doesn't matter anymore, and we're going to make sure those resources go somewhere else. So anybody looking forward to that mode, sorry guys, it ain't going to happen. And plus also, there's really cool stuff coming in March, and we're going to finally get to seasonality where we can hopefully get to a normal season 4 come 13 weeks. Hopefully they think they can get there. They think they can. They don't know yet. They don't know yet. It's not a promise, but they think they can do a 13-week season if everything works out great, starting in March, heading on from there. And that's the reason they took this approach. And the core principles that they broke down was, let me see if I can find that again, because it was very, very generic, I'll have to say. It's like that out of this whole thing, this whole presentation, honestly, this is what had bothered me the most. And I kind of broke this down a little bit last night with Pong. But it was basically just about making a game the way a game should be made, with the principles about the way a game should be focused on, where you have the game has to be rewarding. They're the guys, let me tell you, they're going to start focusing on making sure the game's rewarding. Okay. That's now important to them. That's going to be an important focus going forward. I don't know if it was before, but apparently not. Now they are going to make the game rewarding for everybody. Also, again, hey, attention everybody, this is really important news here, because now not only are they going to make the game rewarding,
this point, it pisses me off.
They not only, guys, are they going to make the game rewarding for you, but they are now going to start focusing and have made a crucial focus to make the game personal and welcoming.
It's not a fucking dating sim, it's a shooter. I don't care about the way fucking people look. I'm not trying to meet people. I'm trying to play a game. If I want to meet people, I will. It's not a dating sim. Let me play the game.
But also goes with reporting and in-game reporting and all these kind of things and stuff like that. Like, they want to make it welcoming for everybody, because this is now it is a year after the game came out, almost a focus for them. They make this game personal and welcoming now. So that, again, guys, this is now a focus, and obviously it wasn't before. They apologize for not making a personal and welcoming game, but now it is. Next up, guys, this is like really crucial, because this is something that we've all been asking for shooters for a long time, and something that is they decided is now important to start making a core focus of Halo. This game is now, they're going to start focusing on making it competitive and fair. So that is going to be a core focus going forward for Halo. Everybody, you can be happy about that. Competitive and fairness is now a high priority, where it wasn't before, obviously. And next, guys, the most crucial one. Now they have finally seen the light, and they are now making a core focus, guys, on making sure it is stable and high quality. So all of these principles now are a focus for this team. It is amazing that you can make a game, in my opinion, especially a live service game, without those principles being involved from the very beginning and being the core focus, number one.
Of course they were.
Start. Of course they were. Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, the whole 15, 20 minutes of this show that they had was complete bullshit and just like waste of time. Instead, it was like an excuse of the mistakes that they made, and saying, we got to fix all this. If the show was
too short, then y'all would have bitched also. So, I mean,
that's
they
true.
probably just were like, what can we say, to make it long enough to be good enough for these babies.
So for me, this comes across like you got a team meeting, right? And you got some guy like, all right, guys, ideas. What can we do to fix Halo? And then some intern in the back. We need to make it more rewarding.
I'm sure
It
that's
goes
what
on the
happened.
board. Can we make it more stable? Yeah, it goes up there. Let's go. All right. It needs to be competitive and fair. Okay, let's go. Can you make it more personal and welcoming too? Yeah, it's going on the board. Those are our core principles. Let's run with it. We got a video to do in 10 minutes, guys. Let's get on stage. Let's go. You know?
A family-friendly game where you shoot people in the face.
And teabag them when you kill them.
It was just like for me, it was just like embarrassing. Like that should like not even be discussed. It's like that's a given.
I didn't mind them talking about this. I just didn't like the order they had it in. That's really,
Yeah.
I felt like their priorities on that list were so off base. Like the stability of that game is dog shit right now. That needs to be their number one priority. It would fix every other problem they have.
That's what I hear the most is desync, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the gameplay is good, but I haven't felt good gameplay in Halo Infinite in probably like 7 months. Every time I play that game, it's lagging, or I'm shooting a guy, they're not taking damage. They're shooting the wall, I'm getting hit for it. It's like, what's going on here? Even the pros, like there's pro matches going on where you're seeing shots hit the walls and the pro players are taking damage and they're complaining about it now. It's like, I don't know what's going on. And competitive, like Halo's not been necessarily competitive. It's only been competitive if you wanted it to be. It's the first part of Halo is having fun. And multiplayer, just like goofing off and stuff. And to make Halo just like primarily like an esports game mode, that's what killed Halo 5. Like,
yes.
So I'm just like, their priorities are so off right now. And then like making identity or whatever, like your number 2 priority, it's like, sure, I want my Spartan to look cool, but if the game's not running well, I don't care if my Spartan looks like generic Master Chief or a rainbow dude. I'm just like, fucking just make the game work.
I care.
Exactly.
I care.
Well, because you're fancy. So I think the whole thing with the whole competitive and fair, that to me is the cheaters. They're gonna address the cheaters. That's that to me. Welcoming.
Why weren't they more specific on these issues? Right, that's my thing. Like it's so generic, you know.
Because they've been specific before, and they haven't fucking delivered. So now they can be generic, and it can mean anything. And if it doesn't come through, no one knows what the fuck they're talking about, and then they're not disappointing anybody.
Yeah. Well, the reason the last 2 were at the end is because that's the hardest ones to implement.
What, competitive and fair and stability, right? Yeah.
You can add match XP. It's whatever. They've already done that a shit ton, and then like you can just keep adding skins. Like that's the 2 easiest things. They do that already.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, exactly. I like the desync is the number 1 thing, because I was playing Tactical Slayer, which is SWAT, and I was like, it's didn't go away. I'm like, what the fuck? And that's the thing that's one of the modes that I fucking loved in the MCC. And I try to play MCC and I can't fucking play it because how Halo Infinite, the mechanics of it feels so much better. The movement, the speed, it's fucking good. Just fix the fucking desync and those type of mechanics of the game. Fix it, then it will help on everything else. Yeah, cool. If you got a fucking another set of cat ears, cool.
that's
love it.
That's expectations and stuff you don't really have to like. It's just so generic, right? Like they don't have to like go into fact that they're gonna what their plan is for making it more welcoming for the community or more making it this or that. It's just like talk about what you're doing exactly. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like because it sounds like you don't actually have a plan. It seems like this is just a core focus now, and we're going to find out what that plan is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the whole thing with the beta match XP, like they're trying to. That's why they gave us the 4-month winter event to help figure it out if it's balanced or they need adjustment. I get that. That's why they don't want to have you pay for a whole freaking season battle pass and it's shit. So this way they can fix it and if it works, sweet. We'll just let it ride. If it's not, then they can tweak it and then they can go into, you know, season 3 and give us, you know, that 100 tier battle pass and see how that works out, you know. So I get why they're doing the whole match XP beta, you know, because they don't want to you know, they don't want us to pay for that. I mean, because I'll be kind of pissed, like, if I pay $10 and it's like it's shit, like I'm not progressing enough, or if they put it too much, if they over aggressive XP, then it's like, okay,
I guess they can't win.
no, well, that's why they're doing the beta. So this way they can get that harmony. So in the future they can release, if it's 3 months battle passes, then whatever they're going to apply from this beta will help with the 3 months. You can't do it on a 6 months because that's 2 seasons in 1 season, and that's the thing that's it's killing, because everyone's like, yay, it's the same season. You know, I just finally got 100 on this because I barely freaking I'm barely doing all the weekly challenges unless it's something cool that I want. And that's, you know, and I'm glad to see that there's no more like little stickers and things like that that's in the weekly challenges. We got armor core coatings, we got visor coatings. Last week was the bloody tooth. There was a machete for your chest piece. So there were cool things like, oh yeah, I'd like that cosmetic piece for my armor, you know, because if someone decided not to play it this week, I got it, they didn't, so that makes my character unique. So I'm glad that they're going that route, that we're seeing that they're doing some positive things, but they need to also fix other aspects, like, you know, the desyncing and making the game
I think
a little bit more stable,
the
especially PC
problem
side.
the problem with the stability, honestly, I think it's that their skill-based matchmaking right now is so strict, because like I know there's a lot of people that are kind of like around my level, especially in Europe, where they're getting matched with people in the US and their ping's like over 2,000 and they're complaining, and 343 is like,
Yeah.
sorry, you're shit out of luck.
I hear
You're
this
like,
from the
whatever.
Australian gamers a lot too.
Yeah.
Also, right, that they have issues with this kind of stuff, right? And they get frustrated at it, but there's no answers
And
from
that's
343.
that's why the
you know?
competitive aspect of this is kind of like shit, because like if you want to make the game competitive, you're enforcing that strict skill-based matchmaking, you're just screwing out the rest of the world. It's like,
Yeah. And I actually see some dismissals a lot from 343 regarding some of these issues as well when they kind of comment on it. Like, we're addressing that, but honestly, some people aren't seeing what they think they are. Right? They say that, actually. They even said it in this, right? And in that sit down. It's like, it's a little bit of dismissing the issues that people know that they're having that are playing this game every day, right? And it kind of comes off like that's not a priority focus for you when you make sure that you kind of dismiss it at least a little bit. Now, obviously, they did address making it stable, right? In generic terms, right? And they alluded to some PC crashes and stuff like that. But overall, like, there's a lot of the aspects that in the game that people are more worried about right now than even the content, but they can't address that because their teams are still catching up making Forge and making campaign co-op, and they decided at some point, well, we're not going to be able to even get to split screen, which weirdly is still working. If you actually do some maneuvering in the systems in the game, you can actually hack it or whatever to be able to get split screen co-op working with 4 people on Series X and S. But I guess they decided they don't want to finish
just
optimizing it or something. I'm not exactly sure what the issue is.
Just to kind of finish up my point, like, this is probably one of my least played Halos, just due to the fact that every match is like kind of sweaty, and like I know you all call me sweaty people or whatever, but I just I don't want to do that every in game. I just want to chill sometimes. You know?
Yeah. You're too good, Jasper. It's your fault, not theirs.
I know, and that's why it fucking sucks. And then getting back to the split screen thing, like honestly, I think we'll probably end up seeing split screen eventually in
later.
This game.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what happened with MCC is there was a lot of promises and they kind of canceled them at first, and then they were like,
yeah. And they didn't necessarily say
those
canceled. They said they're going to stop working on it, right? Yeah. So eventually you could see split screen co-op, but it'll be way later probably.
Oh, there's a glitch right now. You can force it into split screen and it works. Just
Yeah, that's what
fine.
we're saying, right?
So,
Yeah.
that's what I don't understand. If there's a glitch in the game that actually works at split screen, like how difficult? I mean, again, I don't know, but I just don't understand why it's such a resource heavy implementation. I don't understand a damn thing. I never have claimed to.
Yeah.
But it's just weird to me, like that kind of stuff. It's just
Yeah.
I believe it's on the Xbox One side is why split
the
screen
VCR model.
Yeah, it's
shit. Just make it a
because
next gen exclusive. I don't care anymore. People can get a
that's
Series
what
X or
I've
S or
been
play in the
saying.
cloud.
You
know
would
what I mean?
bitch if they did that.
No, I wouldn't. Like,
you all don't
okay,
have an Xbox
make it
One.
work. Make it work on the only on
It
the
does
One
work.
X.
The game
The
works
One
fine.
X, One
not
X,
split screen. Split screen is not
Series
there.
S.
This is what they did for
Series X.
GTA. Eventually, for GTA 5, they got to a certain point where their content, they couldn't do it for 360 anymore. And they're like,
Yeah.
we're only going to start working on Xbox One stuff. So
Yes,
I think that's the point that 343 needs to get to. Either that be
Yes.
for multiplayer content or single player content. You need to eventually get to the point where, hey, we cannot support this game on legacy hardware anymore. We have to continue it on.
Make it playable only via the cloud or something if they have to.
And
right?
that's the thing that I was saying that they could get away workaround is that, hey, xCloud is on Xbox One, and yes, it sucks that you're not on native hardware, but when the game is being hindrance because of the older hardware, we're seeing it with split screen. So just say, hey, you know what? If you split screen cannot be done, and be honest, we can't do it with the VCR Xbox One. It's just we apologize. We're trying our hardest, but it's not
and also,
being
who the
stable.
fuck still plays split screen? There's like
I was just gonna say that,
1%.
Jasper. Like, are y'all all planning to play
Not too
split
many.
screen?
No. That's not the
There's
point.
some.
It's the again, if everything else was in line with what the majority of people had expected at this point, I think the split screen thing would be minimal. Like, it's just one more thing on top of what everybody else is describing that has led to this frustration. So then it gets kind of more blown up. But it is also a fact that Bonnie Ross came out on stage and explicitly promised the Halo community that would never happen again. They would never ship another Halo without split screen. So when that's why you never want to back yourself in a corner. Just like we were talking about Phil, he's not going to say, well, you're going to get Call of Duty forever. Yeah, you don't want to back yourself into those corners because you just don't know what's going to happen. But let me ask you guys this, because again, you guys know more than me.
Casual Halo fan.
Yeah, casual. Well, even outside of casual Halo fans, some of you guys are more techie than me too. But to me, it seems like on top of some of the management stuff that we've talked about that kind of led up to this point, really early in development and up through the end of it, doesn't it seem like them building this slipspace engine, they really didn't know what they were going to be able to do with it, and they overestimated it in a lot of ways? Because I remember them coming out and talking about how this engine was custom created for the fact that they could work on the old hardware and the new hardware console wise, and everything was going to be seamless and it was going to be great. And that's why they went to these great lengths and spent all this money on slipspace instead of using a different engine, because they wanted to have that ability. That was one of the main features they talked about. And now that they've got it up and running and now they got the game on it, it seems like a lot of stuff, because we know, a big part of the co-op delay was because they were potentially having problems in Xbox One and the memory and all that kind of stuff as well. So did they just overestimate what this engine was going to be able to do for them at the end of the day?
You go ahead, Fuzzy.
No, what I was going to say is, from what I've heard from some people that have either talked with or hands-on behind the scenes stuff, it seems like it was a combination of overestimation and not preparing in the long term. A lot of the early development between the full-time as well as the contractors that was engine related pretty much kind of went out the window once the game shipped, because a lot of those contractors had moved on. Not many, if any, were retained 2 to 3 months prior to the game shipping. So it was one of those things where a lot of those that have done contract work, usually as you get close to the wrapping up of that contract deal, you start submitting your resume for other jobs. And a lot of those people, after the game shipped, they are now on to their next contract or their next, full-time job. So a lot of the work that they kind of had at least an inkling of what would be needed for both the, previous generation and now our current generation of hardware kind of left with some of that with some of the contractors, as well as some of the full-timers that had left as well, because of a lot of the turmoil behind the scenes on certain things. Like if you're going to have people basically, and I know people have put like the comparison as far as like building a house, you'll have one group that are going to build the foundation, the next group they'll do the walls or the basically the skeleton of the house, and then the rest will come in and do like the floors and whatnot. But you still need some, unlike with houses, you'll still need some of those from the foundation building process to stay on, to kind of work on those bugs or things that you knew you wanted to implement but may not be able to optimize, with the whole new set of contract workers that now have to kind of backtrack and learn this new system. Because when you take something that's, in-house or custom, that's that priority stuff tends to need like special care and special attention. If it's off the shelf, like, not knocking any other, studio within Xbox Studios, but going to like Unreal Engine 5, not only do the people that's within your walls know on Unreal Engine 5, but a lot of people that you're going to hire as far as contractors are already familiar with it. So it's not something that they have to kind of relearn. They may just have to, learn or be familiar with some of the add-ons and things that you've, implemented into your version for that engine. But when you have a complete custom engine, you're basically taking talent that may not have had hands-on with that particular engine. And it seems like, from what I hear, Bonnie Ross was kind of anti former Bungie employees. So a lot of the people that would probably be best suited, even though Slipspace being somewhat of a new engine, it's very similar to the groundwork that what Bungie was using. So having that duality of not wanting people that may be experienced with the engine, having to bring new people in once the game shipped, it just seems like they take one step forward and two steps back each time. So
honestly, though, I don't know if it's necessarily an engine issue. I think that it could just be like they had a lot of content for this game built, but when Joseph Staten came in, they had to cut a bunch of stuff out. So I think this game might just be kind of patched together with band-aids and not necessarily like a completed experience that started off day one. You
think? I mean, ultimately, they have a content problem, right? And the content problem is also hindering the performance problems, because they have to backtrack and get so much content that was supposed to have been there to begin with. Now that it's hindering their ability to get more content out frequently and also keep optimizing the game. So now they've taken the approach, well, these are the focuses now. We're going to stop worrying so much on content currently, as much as work on the core focuses to get the game where it needs to be. Hence, that's why we have this like kind of middle season thing, right? And that's kind of what their messaging was.
Season thing, like a lot of people were kind of complaining about that too. It's pretty much season 3. Like I'm excited for that, just for the fact that we're getting Forge.
Right. So there's the silver linings, right?
Co-op. We're getting all that stuff that was kind of promised for season 3 in this winter update window. Maybe if they don't delay anything again.
That's one thing too. Like, right? How do you believe anything that they say? Because everything that they say continues to get pushed back, and then also either pushed back or canceled or changed. Right? Every single thing about the game since its launch has been one message.
Yeah,
and
I don't
receiving
think we've
another.
got anything that they've promised yet.
Right, except the new maps when a couple weeks before they're announced and stuff like that. Are you still there, babe? So I know you were getting a little bit. You have the opposite mindset on this, where you're kind of getting sick of the complaining, right?
Well, I was trying to say that this whole conversation so far, but
yeah, well, that's why I'm asking and making sure I go to you now, because like,
yeah, I don't know if I'm whatever.
Okay,
I'm just kidding.
So. What do you like? When we were listening to Xbox 2 earlier and Jez was kind of go off, you're like, I agree. I kind of agree with him. You know what I mean? Like, you think we're all overblowing this, or what?
100%. I just like y'all are acting like the game is like not good anymore all of a sudden.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna uninstall Halo. I'm done with Halo until they.
A lot of people are actually not us.
Okay, whatever, Jimmy, Johnny. Don't fucking play it then. Guess what? It's fucking fun. I'm still gonna fucking play it. It's still a good time. It's still a good fucking solid game. Like,
right.
I think
all of a sudden suck.
Yeah, I don't think it's that the game is unplayable in that aspect. What I think it is that because of the promises and the lack of delivering, like they've said that ray tracing is going to be there and it's not here. And
I don't think anyone's complaining about ray tracing.
Okay, well maybe.
there was a lot, like the people that I followed. There's a lot of complaining of ray tracing not there because you say it's going to be there and it's not there. So
okay,
it's
all the broken promises.
Yeah.
So,
that's what they're upset because they're broken
like,
promises.
You guys can just go get some diapers.
Honestly,
Well, I mean,
I'm excited
Mav,
excited for November and the game, but it's just like I just don't like playing it because there's like technical issues when you play it. Like I'm shooting the guy in the head. It should be like 4 bursts with a BR, but it ends up being half the whole magazine because the desync is like.
I've also never noticed one of these whatever desync issues that y'all are talking about. I've never had one issue. If some guy doesn't go down when I shoot him, it's because I fucking suck. Okay.
It's regular regular modes are not that noticeable. Tactical Slayer is where it's very noticeable.
I noticed it in regular modes.
We pick it up because we are in SWAT all the time, and then we see like I'm hitting you. I know you should be dead. Why aren't you dead? And then you can sit there because I shot somebody.
Hitting them. I mean,
no,
there's clips of people putting bullet after bullet in people and no damage.
There's a guy that was AFK and I was shooting him, and then another teammate came up and started shooting him, and he died. And I was like, "What the fuck?" Nothing I was doing was killing him, but my teammate, it was okay for him. So it's just it's silly thing, and that's the whole thing that we're talking about. Get the game stable so we can have none of these issues, because like I'd be running around the corner and I'm thinking I'm free and then I'm dead. I'm like, what the fuck? It's
that being said, I am going to be playing Halo Infinite next week because there's a new event, but I'm going to enjoy my time. I will be playing
Halo. I've been playing Halo.
None of us here are like Halo's dead. Like everybody's in the community.
No, I see it so much on Twitter. Like,
yeah,
I'm
playing Halo right now.
That game, like, like, are you forgetting like what video games purpose is in the first place? It's just to have fun. Like,
I know people.
It's still fun,
and that's the thing. I can't have fun by myself playing Halo because it's so fucking sweaty.
Well, stop being so fucking good, Jasper. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, that's the thing. I've played with Jasper, and I know Mav and Caitlin can vouch for that. We've played with Jasper, and the fucking people that we go up against, I'm like, what the fuck? Is this esport level motherfuckers? Because it's like I turn around the corner and this son of a bitch has already fucking got me.
Because he's enough to carry the whole team.
No, because I get like a handful of kills in that level.
It's weird when I play with Jasper. I feel like every time I die, there's 4 teabags in my face every single time.
Right?
It's just like all of a sudden the whole team is just fucking annihilating me all at once.
Yes.
And it's like, Jasper, man, you're supposed to be good enough to like carry us. No, I can almost hold my own with Jasper and 3-bit. Like I think Jasper's like on another level, right? You know what I mean? But like when we get in these games, it can get crazy intense. And those are the times when you notice the things like desync the most, right? When it's in these frustrating, like highly competitive environments and you smack the guy in the back of the head or the guy's in front of you and you have no damage and he smacks you once and then all of a sudden you drop dead forward, right? That's supposed
to happens in like a lot, like almost every game, but doesn't it?
With Halo, it's such a highly competitive environment and these very high, like in the ranked matches and stuff, that it stands out big time when these things happen, and it makes these players get extremely frustrated and they're like, fuck this game, I'm never playing again. It's not necessarily like, I don't really, honestly, for me personally, I don't give two
It's how
shits
you
about the
play the
desync
game,
thing,
though, that
right?
determines like how serious you take it.
Yeah.
Like when I play with you all, you'll see me like drop 25 kills and like 5 deaths. But when I play by myself, it's like 10 kills and 10 deaths. It's like I'm struggle busting my lobbies. Where it was when I play with you all, it's like, oh man, this is nice. I can just chill and play this game.
Like I
don't
said,
know
I
if that's
get
an
handful kills.
insult or...
It's backhanded. It's okay. I'll tolerate it. It's there is a little bit of issue with a lot of the different aspects, but I think the most thing is like it's not necessarily just about that. It's about constantly saying something and not delivering on it, right? Which has also been like an Xbox
Every fucking
thing.
gameplay studio does that.
Right,
No,
just
that's not
343
true.
more than most, right? And this goes back a long time, right? Like, and with a game, here's the thing: like, you can say like random games and stuff here and there, like, and it happens and stuff. But this is Halo.
This is also
Right.
343's third fuck up in a row.
Right.
So
I mean, this is Halo. This is like Xbox's #1 franchise. It's the franchise that the consensus is from Xbox gamers is probably the most important for Xbox, and also has more fans on Xbox than any other franchise probably, right? And you go into that game and you have this team and they make these promises, they sell you all this stuff and they talk about how amazing all these things are going to be, and they get you hyped up for it for years, you know, and you have this anticipation building. And okay, we're sold on that vision. Yeah, we believe in you, and we all talk about how amazing it's going to be. We're going to be doing all these custom game matches with the whole community. It's going to be awesome. But then, oh wait, guys, well, you know, we are delaying it a year to get it right. We're like, okay, fine. You know what? You take that extra year, a whole year. This game's going to be amazing, right? Then finally, a game gets closer to the year. We finally get, oh well, hold on, guys. We're going to hold off campaign co-op because it's not ready yet, but you're still going to get the multiplayer a few days before campaign. Awesome, right? So, okay.
but hold up. We got to extend season 1 for 3 more months.
Oh, and also Forge isn't going to be here either, right? So it's okay. It's coming. We're going to give it to you later. Remember, the multiplayer's free anyway, right? So just bear with us. We're working on it. Oh yeah. Hey, the first season's 6 months. So because we're still working on these other things, but don't worry, campaign co-op will be there. Forge is gonna be there. Oh, hey, season 2 is here, but guess what, guys? You know what? We're not ready to do like a full, regular season yet. So it's gonna be 6 months. But bear with us. We're working on this stuff. It's gonna be awesome. We have these dates that we're targeting, and this is gonna be great. We're gonna have all this stuff here. We apologize for the issues. And here we are again. Oh, hey guys, remember what we said last time when we apologized profusely at the start of that last video before season 2? Well, we're still not actually going to even be able to deliver on the 6-month season that we said, which was ludicrous at the time. Instead, we got this other thing we're giving you, and we got a 10-month season. So here's this, but don't worry. Finally, you're getting Forge and campaign co-op, which is the silver lining, right? That's this positive stuff, because the Forge team, it looks like they've made some amazing kick-ass shit that's going to potentially change Halo forever. We're going to get into some of that here as well and get into the positives, right? But the whole thing is about constantly not addressing the issues that are ongoing while you keep making promises and not meeting on them. And I think that allows for fair criticism and complaints from a fan base that have been sold a bill of goods for a long time on the #1 game on Xbox, right? So that's to my point, and people that are out there saying like you can't criticize or can't complain or like you can't talk shit about a studio or whatever and stuff like that, or like it's just for me, like, you're not a fan about something unless you actually try and hold it to at least a certain standard, right?
And
like you can make excuses all you want, right? You can make excuses all you want.
It's I think you see this more also just because of the fact that it's the face of Xbox. Like any like Xbox gamer that's kind of been there since the start, it's like, Halo, you've played Halo. Like Halo's the favorite game for like most people on Xbox. Like I feel like, so like you're super passionate about it, and you want to see that game that you love like actually be good. And when it's not up to that par, you're like, well, shit, like, fuck them.
Almost there. I mean, it's literally almost there. They just need to tweak a handful of things, and it could be really fucking great. And it's just frustrating. You know, it's just
all this is a product of Halo's success. With great success comes more spotlight, and you have in the Halo community one of the most divided communities, no matter what game we talk about in the series, in the franchise, because of how popular it was and continues to be. Right?
They also changed it up a lot too. So
correct. You're never going to appease the majority of the Halo community. It's going to be near impossible.
Yeah,
so there's good and bad. Like Halo gets more chances than a lot of games do. We just saw this with Battlefield, right? Battlefield used to be one of the top first-person shooters out there, but they went through a stretch, just like Jasper was pointing out with 343, of games not necessarily living up to the community's, level of expectations. But what happened with Battlefield this final time on Battlefield 2042? The community disappeared. They stopped caring. They stopped complaining. They stopped going after DICE. Sure, there's a small contingent out there still, talking about Battlefield. But compared to what it used to be when Battlefield 4 launched and it had all of its issues, people were up in arms everywhere until DICE fixed it. So I think that 343 with Halo, they've still got this huge community out here talking, criticizing, which sure can get to levels that aren't healthy, to get to levels that are very toxic and all that kind of stuff. That's all true.
And never like attack the people behind the face of the company, just attack like the name of the company.
Right, the name,
exactly.
Right. But the fact that people still care about Halo is a testament to Halo's popularity. Because like I was just pointing out, Battlefield's all but dead. Sure, it started to gain back a little bit, but nowhere near what it used to be in any way, shape, or form. There's so many people who have lost complete faith in Battlefield at this point, and they just stopped caring. I think that 343 has a unique position here with Halo that, yes, they're going to take the heat. Yes, there's always going to be criticism, whether fair or unfair, on them throughout the community, no matter what they do, especially after taking over for Bungie and all that kind of stuff in the glory days. It's going to happen, but they are getting more chances to fix things. And that's why none of us here on this panel are saying Halo's dead in any way, shape, or form, because we know the popularity. We know the power of Halo at the end of the day to come back and 343.
And we also know the dedication from Microsoft into Halo, and they're not going to let this just like go, right? It's for all the people saying Halo's dead, it's never coming back, you should kill it, kill the franchise at this point, or all this kind of stuff. It's like that's too far. You know what I mean? That's like saying like, they can't get it right now, so guess what? Fuck it forever, right? That's it. And you can't discount. This is what Caitlin's pretty much been saying. And again, this is all opinions, right? And it's like you can't discount all the good that they've done with the game, right? Like there's still a lot of awesome shit in the game. Yeah. Like you can't discount any of that stuff, right? So there's a lot of positivity still in there, but it gets frustrating when it's negative for a while until we get that positive. And yesterday could have been more of a positive than it was. And the fact that it was delivered in the way it was a big part of the problem. I think the messaging and the way they structured this whole thing just came across really bad, in my opinion.
All they had to do to like fix this was be like, we have to push Forge and call it back a little bit. It's going to come out when season 3 is supposed to launch, but we're just having this little mini event, and then after the mini event, season 3 is going to launch, and we'll all be back together. We'll all be back to normal. That's all they had to say, and everything would have been all right.
No,
there still would have been people out here complaining, but I think Forge could be the turning point, though, right? It won't take much if Forge comes out and is everything that we're seeing it is, and it feels like there's going to be a big community behind Forge, despite all the talk surrounding 343. There's going to be a big community in there making stuff for Forge. If they can get Forge together, Mav and I talked about this last night, and you can search out the custom stuff that people are making, and they get that to a point where it's very easy and accessible for people. Forge could be the turning point where people start coming back and the criticisms start trailing off, because now there's content being created, even if it's not directly from 343. I think Forge really could be that spot.
I have a fear that that's going to be a separate app like the tech test, and you're not going to be carry over your shit, and then that's going to be a whole nother wave of this complaining bullshit. It's like if they do that, they've fucking dropped the ball
That's one of the biggest missteps for me is not being able to get that custom game browser ready for November. Instead, we're going to have the Forge beta for 4 months without a custom game browser, right?
Yeah, the game browser is going to change.
If there's a file
things.
share, it's all right. Like custom game browser, that's only really if you're like looking to matchmake with random people in those custom games. I think because they added that to MCC.
I'm hoping there's got to be
search,
file share at least.
If there's file share, you can still find those games and you can create your own custom games for that stuff. But
right, so we'll be able to host some fun stuff, right?
Yeah,
like
if there's no file share, then you can't even find the stuff. You just have to know a dude that has that made it, and that's going to be damn near impossible.
And that'd be bullshit. But Chris Jones with the $2 super chat. Caitlin is saying, "Get good, Jasper." LOL. Lord Roughness with the £2 super chat. What Halo needs right now is story DLC.
yes.
I do agree with that. I do agree.
I will say also a little bit of criticism on the seasons. They make a big deal about the story in the seasons, but those cutscenes are like 10 seconds long and really mean nothing. It's like I don't understand why they make such a focal point on that because it's not really adding anything to the game. I'm just saying that.
It does a little bit with the immersion of the multiplayer, but I'd rather see story DLC as
I'd rather see another map instead of that cutscene.
Yeah, that's true. Hawk 88, I think that's how you pronounce it, right? Hawk. Sorry if I
RWK. Yeah.
Sorry if I butchered the fuck out of it. $2 super chat. Enjoy, y'all. Thanks. Oh, thank you, sir. And then Alvin with the $10 super chat. As a campaign player, I'm just waiting for the endless expansion other than that Team Jez, Team Caitlin, and best podcast. Great combo. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Alvin.
Alvin is on the optimism train, obviously here in.
Okay, here's my thing: is I'm not on y'all's level. I look at things so much different than y'all.
Which is a good perspective to have.
But that's great.
Like, and I feel like most people probably, I don't know, maybe look at things the way I look. But
yeah, I would say most people
are part of
probably
this whole like community that knows every detail and sorry, that's the dogs with their toys. You know all the details to everything, all the news, like everything, like Jimmy Johnny, who's freaking playing Infinite for like 8.
Why is Jimmy John's no longer making subs? Why is he playing games? What's going on?
He sold the franchise. He's playing Halo.
He was playing Halo for like 8 to 10 hours a day
with his boy Phil.
Yeah, who doesn't know any of this? Like, no fucking roadmap or whatever all this crap that you guys know the ins and outs of. He's fucking having the time of his life playing Infinite with his buds.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
true.
No, that's it. I can say that growing up, well, I shouldn't say growing up on Halo, but being a young man playing Halo, some old as fuck. It's very passionate because that was the game that got me back into gaming. Was Halo Combat Evolved. So Halo is close. So when I see that's not in the best light, I'm going to be a little bit more.
As you. Like,
yes, but little Timmy is also doesn't give two fucks.
I was a toddler.
It's because he doesn't know.
Listen,
he doesn't know.
Yes, you were desperate.
He doesn't know like probably doesn't know the roadmap
but
for
that's
a game.
But that's the great thing about gaming is that people have different views on how things are because they look at it differly. That's I'm going to be more critical.
I just feel like sometimes you guys need
to
like take it back and remember why you're gaming in the first
place. That's the hard thing because we're old stubborn fucking guys that we're like, God damn it.
Yeah, sometimes though you just have to enjoy things for what they are.
Right, and you're absolutely 100% not wrong, Caitlin. That's why I put it in the chat. That's again, I was out here defending Cyberpunk when everybody was hating on it. Right, I was out here defending Cyberpunk because I don't care about bugs as much as a lot of people in this community nitpick every single bug. Like, I don't ever see screen tearing, but people in this community swear that screen tearing happens, and oh my God, it ruins their entire experience, right? So yeah, no, I totally get where you're coming from, Caitlin. I just think that Halo community is in the top 1% of passion when it comes to their game, just because of what Halo has meant to so many people, right? It's just on a different level. So when people talk about it, it comes across that way as well. And you've got this whole subsect, and you're absolutely right. Our community is a small minority in the grand scheme of gaming. We talk about that all the damn time. This is a little bubble. It just so happens you have a whole lot of very passionate, knowledgeable people in one little tiny bubble. And that's where you see these conversations get to this point where, you know, it's not just about necessarily having fun anymore. We get down to the nitty gritty with some of this stuff. And I totally get what you're saying, and you're not wrong at the end of the day. You're not. And anyway,
I just care about it like so much because Halo 2 is like my favorite fucking games. Like,
yeah. Splendiferous with the $2 super chat. Don't care what anyone says. I love Halo. It will never die. Correct, sir.
Thanks,
Steel. Why are you personally attacking me, Steel? People are critical and aren't even good at the game. No, why do you personally attack me, Steel?
It's funny when we play with Psycho, though. He'll blame every single time he gets killed on cheating.
He's a cheater.
But that was at the point I realized that it was the fucking net thing, the desync, and I'm like, God damn it! I'm like, I always thought that, I'm like, these motherfuckers are cheating, and then I'm like, oh, it's fucking desync. Like, I didn't think about it because it wasn't. Like, I didn't put the two together.
Yeah, now you got a name for it.
Fuck you.
Fucking desyncers.
God damn, no, it's not their fault. It's, you know, it's
or whatever.
It's
right.
It's not. It's their fault. Get the goddamn code, fucking 343.
They can't. Their guys are working on something else. Until they're done with that, then they can come back and work on the desync issues.
I got a purple visor.
They're probably working on Forge.
Work on your fucking identity in the game instead of making the game actually work.
Yeah, it's
welcoming.
welcoming.
Make it more welcoming.
Yeah.
Again,
that's my biggest issue was the delivery of this, and how they presented this whole thing just made it worse. Right?
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the what is it called? The teabagging, anti-teabagging fucking code, where you can't walk over somebody and teabag them.
We just got a free teabag in Battlefield.
Yeah, we did.
Teabag
you also get a free crab if you play one match this month.
Yeah, Jasper, what happens if 343 is working on a swipe right or swipe left function for Halo, so you can post your armor and you can favorite your.
Oh my
I won't give two shits.
Yeah. Ultimately, Halo, again, at the end of the day, is going to be.
Oh, damn, your Spartan looking fine, girl. It's like,
oh, my God.
Left.
I can't wait to teabag that one. Oh, my God. I'm sorry. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think we can all pretty much agree that Halo Infinite's going to be fine, right? Again, it's just more frustration on that path than it should have been there with content. With content, that's all we want. Is we want the game to function properly, and we want content, right? And I think that is mostly what the community would say. And you could also give criticism to the fact that when they launched this game, they had promised a live service game, but they just forgot that's what they were making, and didn't have a roadmap or plan of how they were going to achieve this thing now that they call seasonality.
It's also frustrating because they make sure they reset that damn store every week. It's like, hey, look, you got some new shiny skin. It's like, cool. Can't even use it on half my Spartans. So here's $20.
Yeah.
But your visor color transfers. That's one cool thing. They just need to have armor coatings. I really don't give a fuck about gloves and fucking shoulder pads. I don't give a fuck. But armor coatings, visors, that was cool. Maybe some chest pieces, possibly. But those are the two I'm excited about.
About Forge too. I see Steel ask, how does Forge look godly? Like, you're literally contracted to everyone else. Like, I will say Forge looks like it's on another level than we've ever seen before. And it makes me wonder if a lot of the core team is actually on Forge, right? Because maybe it is so important to the grand scheme of things of what they want to do with Halo, for where they can get it to be that like meta game, right? Where you have all these different modes and games within a game and experiences that are going to appeal to so many different people and bring in the masses into one game. And that's why maybe Forge is that important to them, why they're giving all these extra tools and all these different things, because they could have launched it in a much simpler state, right? And then added stuff to it. But they're launching this thing in beta when it comes out with a lot of things that have never been in any Forge mode before. And the fact where you can make your own games and your own mechanics and scale and all these different things. And they broke all that stuff down in that video. And that's where it got good. That's when that video got good, is when they're breaking down, hey, we got these maps coming, these Forge maps, and they look more like real maps. They don't really look like Forge maps anymore, right? We got the community's already been making amazing shit that you guys wouldn't believe. And they talk about, oh, we also have these other new maps that we're coming out with season 3, and then we got all this stuff that we're working on, and finally by that point our goal is to have a regular more content flow, right? So there's a lot of positives to take away from that, but it's a lot of weight again, you know what I mean? And that kind of threw it all off. But come November, I think Jasper's right, there's a lot of new content to be excited for. We got 2 Forge maps made by 343 that look pretty legit. They look like real Halo maps.
Forge maps now don't look like Forge maps back in the day.
Right. We got that 30 tier battle pass that everyone will get for free, where they're actually going to be putting in that match XP, depending on your skill, how you did, and all that kind of stuff. My issue with that is that I think it's too small. I think people are going to run through that 30 tier battle pass
they could have
really
took some
fast.
of the microtransactions away and put it in that, but
right. Because that's going to last 4 months. It's going to last November to March. Right. So that's already, maybe they will in the middle of it, and they just didn't want to promise anything right now. Hopefully so. But then also they got a new weapon coming in season 3 with a DMR that was we all saw, right? Leaked on Twitter.
Gadget. Oh,
the new gadget with like the shield thing that pops down and blocks visibility.
Smoke grenade.
Yeah. But, so there's a lot of positives to take away from it. It's just, the waiting is going to be a little bit longer for some of the content, but the most important content that we were excited about for season 3 will be there in November, right?
Maybe.
Don't damn it, Jasper. So that's the silver lining, and we can complain and everything, obviously, but that is the positive thing about it, for sure, that we can look forward to that stuff. All right, moving on from that, guys. Well, it turns out also that Xbox Friends and Family, getting to more positive Xbox news, is actually official in Colombia and Ireland, actually announced to the public, not just for insiders. And in Ireland, it is $21.99. And in Colombia, it is like 40-something thousand, whatever currency they have. Yeah. But anyway, it amounts to potentially anywhere between $21.99 and $25 USD. And it's any time now. I would think we're probably going to get an announcement for the US. But
was that 1 month trial that came out like a few hours ago? Was that for the US?
Yes, but it's not active.
Yeah.
It's only, from what I heard, it's like in testing, or it's like a placeholder for the testing stuff that was used since April.
Right. So we're going to get this Friends and Family thing. It seems like maybe it's already in the Insider app for alpha users, potentially, to get going with that, or they have some information on that. Is that something, maybe something you've heard, Psycho?
Yes. Yeah. No, yeah. It like kind of who was Dread kind of alluded to earlier.
Yeah.
They have something in the Xbox Insider. It is, let's see if I can find it. Did they take it away? Oh, come on.
Ooh, it was
But
there
it
only for a
was-
hot minute.
Yeah, it was there earlier. Yeah. That's
Wow.
Uh-huh, sure it was.
No, I remember Dred was talking about
Yeah,
it, and
Yeah.
you know,
It was a bug.
Yeah. It's the famous Xbox bug.
what is up with Xbox actually making things pop up sometimes where they're not supposed to be there yet, and then taking them away?
I don't
Like
know.
this is like an ongoing thing.
Yeah, pretty much it was the fact that you can test it out, so you can kind of like talking points on what it's going to be. Like it breaks it down, and I believe that there was a way. I think what we all saw with that $1 test was what in the Insider app. That's what I was speaking about. Is that you can have for $1, test it out, and give family members or friends for so there'd be 5 people on the account. And I believe that's what it was, because it really is. Can't really talk about it because
you can't give us any details about what you saw, right? So
yes,
but there was something there that alluded to the fact that maybe this is potentially coming, right? So it's going to be pretty interesting to see when this launches and when it's official for the Insider app in the US. I think it's got to be any day or now or within the next few weeks or so at least. And that's going to be a game changer. Again, it's a long-term vision for Microsoft. Some think we're wondering if this is, just another way to get, the numbers up or whatever like that. I think honestly, this is a necessity for where they want to go with Xbox. They have this vision of having everybody that plays games subscribed and using their service, right? I mean, that's what they want. And at the end of the day, you're not going to get every single person to pay $15 a month, especially a family of 4, family of 5. You want, what was it? Jimmy Johnny, Jimmy Johnny, and let's see, little, Sweet Susie or whatever you want to call the rest of the family.
That's my mom's name. That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I'm sorry.
Little Sweet Susie.
Yeah. Okay. You got little,
It's a little Timmy.
little Steve.
That's my dad's name and my brother's name.
Little Alan.
How about little Judy?
Yeah, we have a little Judy, little Ray. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. You have
are these all rappers? Because they all have little in front of
yeah,
their name.
exactly. You have this basically you want to have this whole family play, right? But what's how it is with having all these different devices all of a sudden game sharing doesn't necessarily work the same way that it does now, where you only have between 2 devices, right? If somebody wants to log in and play on a device and somebody else wants to play at the same time, well, it only works for 2 devices really currently
I don't
now.
think this isn't for like purchase games. This is only for sharing Game Pass in your subscription
Game
service.
Pass.
Like purchase games will still only work between 2 consoles.
Yeah, but the Game Pass works in the same way that game sharing works currently, right?
Yeah.
So like if I have my home Xbox set downstairs in our bedroom, which I currently do, anybody that's on there can play Game Pass because I subscribe to that, and I can also play wherever I'm signed in, right? But as soon as somebody goes and plays on another Xbox, that whole cancels everything out because I can't do it on because I can't just keep switching the home Xbox around, right? So now in this age where your phone is a device, your TV is now its own device, and you have a tablet that's a device, your PC is a device, and you got potentially 5 people wanting to play, you're not going to get all 5 people to pay $15 a month in a family, right? So this is a necessity
to
get everybody
out there and work.
to get everybody into the ecosystem, right? So I think this is overdue a little bit also for people that have had to deal with that have multiple Xboxes in the house, more than 2, more users that play games than 2, which is it's not the majority of families out there. So it's been a smaller problem that they've kind of ignored for a long time, but this is going to solve that and also expand the ecosystem where it needs to go. So I'm very pumped about this. It's going to save us money. And are any of you guys, I'm curious, are anybody here in the situation where it would make sense for you to sign up for the family, friends and family plan?
Most definitely. I got
Fuzzy?
two twin boys.
Ozzy has
and-
16 kids, you know.
I got twin boys, each one with their own gaming rig, each one with their own Xbox Series S, each one with a mobile phone. Only one of them really uses the Game Pass app on his phone.
Yeah.
But with the game share setup, I can only do game share with one of them. And that my one son was able to have access to Game Pass, and the other one we'd have to buy a separate subscription. And then we wound up starting to do Ultimate for all of us because both of them wanted to use some of the Game Pass stuff for the PC Game Pass on their gaming rig. So for some months it was $45 a month, other months it's like $30 a month. Other months, if we're all gaming and building up enough points, then it would be free for the month, or for up to 3 months. But over the past year or so, I would say a program like this would definitely help save some money and make it easier for when they want to buy either season pass updates or cosmetics, or even the same for me buying cosmetics in some of the games that are on the Game Pass itself. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this just for the fact that having all three consoles, we can be in the same game at the same time, or be on all of our PCs at the same time playing the same game is definitely something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, right on, man.
Yeah, I'm hoping they announce it in the US for the general public, at least by before Black Friday, if at all possible.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I mean, it would be weird of them not to take advantage of the holiday season with that. You could do some amazing marketing and stuff like
bundle a 1 month card.
Series S too. You give the friends and family with the Series S bundle. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then have the ad. You imagine an advertisement where one person's on the couch playing on their tablet. You got another person in the family playing on their PC. You got somebody on their playing on their Samsung TV with the app on there. Then you got somebody playing on the Series X, right? And then you have a kid in another place they're playing on a Series S. You could have the whole situation going on, the whole family playing one game together on all these different devices, right? It would be, wow, that showcases all in one place. And then you could bring up start now a trial for whatever, and then for future, here's all these games that are coming, and just blast those names on the screen, and also a bunch of the games that are already announced. And maybe this is why some of the reasons why Microsoft wants some of this deal to get done earlier, because marketing reasons alone, being able to use those names with your advertising and everything is just going to move units and bring people in to the ecosystem, even without the games necessarily being in Game Pass yet, right? So I think it's a big deal overall. Jasper, you don't really need it? Are you hoping to take advantage of somebody else's? Is that what's going on here?
I will say I did have a friend reach out and say, "Hey, would you mind joining the fans and family thing if this thing is actually valuable to us?" So I may be in it. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, right on.
Nice.
What about you, Psycho? You think you and your brother would do that, or y'all kind of game share now, right?
Yeah, we game share. It depends on if his kids want to get Game Pass, then I could see him, it's like, hey, I got it. If you want it, it's there. Because my only thing is that not everyone in the so everyone in the household gets the perks and all the benefits from the whole, Game Pass. It's when you're not in the Xbox home, wherever your home Xbox is, if you're not there, you don't get the perks.
Yeah, you get Game Pass and you can play the games. You don't get the
exactly.
You don't get the free armor piece that they gave away or whatever.
The armor pieces, the 2 month trials for Hulu and Disney Plus, those type of things, those perks that they have in there, and some of them are nice little perks that they got for additions for games and Halo and a lot of Smite and other games like that. But it's for me, I was able to use the Hulu 2 months passed, so I can watch whatever was on Hulu that was just recently. Prey. So I was able to watch Prey and stuff like that. So that was like the cool thing, having the perks. But other than that, yeah, I would definitely would probably join up if if we decided to game share or do the Soul Family Pan, and because like I said, it's like the perks. Yeah, it's cool, but at the end of the day, is it what's better? I'd rather have accessibility over 400 games and being in the service that I can play. So, and it's ultimate. It's not regular. It's not the watered
I
down.
think there's
Game
supposed to be
Pass.
two
It's
versions,
ultimate.
right?
I don't know.
That I don't know. Everything that's
okay.
showing is ultimate.
Yeah,
Because I know there was that one like leak before, or rumor, whatever. It was like there was like a $11.99 version or something, and there was like the 21.
The $11.99 that was a Colombia thing with the exchange rate there and everything, because they're pricing it differently because of affordability for the region, I believe, potentially.
Correct.
So that that price point isn't a different version of it. It's just targeted towards that audience, right? Whereas a $21.99 was where the exchange rate and the currency and everything is more in line with the US dollar. People are wondering potentially what the price is going to be here in the US for that. And it's anywhere between $21.99 and $25. Currently, it is cheaper in Ireland for Game Pass Ultimate. It's $12.99, I believe. And it's $14.99 here still, right? I think. So if you take that $2 gap there, then I would potentially think it could be $24, but then at that point it's just $25. Yeah, I think it's $25 is going to be the sweet spot. The good thing is, it sounds like it's not going to be like what we had all potentially thought it could be begin with, 35 or whatever, 30, because it's going to be giving
30,
so much
35.
damn value, right? Really, I could get a Game Pass Ultimate subscription and have 5 of us all on it. And none of, like, you know what I mean? Like, 4 of us don't have to even pay for the damn service at all.
That's
right?
where
That's
I'm
the
like,
power of
where
it. It's crazy.
Microsoft rewards, like, do they just all go to the host, or?
I don't think you accumulate rewards yourself if you're on that plan, right? I think you just, if you're not in the home Xbox, then you don't accumulate anything, right?
Yeah, that's what I was talking. Like, that's the perks that they were, the benefits of having. So you have to be at the home Xbox, then you get the same benefits.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like the Smite skins and stuff. I'm talking about like actual Microsoft points money.
The rewards you're talking about. Yeah, I believe they said all the benefits and add-ons that they have. So that I'm assuming that is also a part of that, because it didn't. But again, it did not specify reward points, and so I'm assuming yes, but I could be wrong.
I think that's I think the biggest blow to me out of that. Like, if I'm not the host and I don't get my, because I've earned like over hundreds of dollars just for MS rewards or whatever. I'm like, to lose that, like, I don't know, that's gonna suck.
And that could be another thing that could be, they take that away, because they're, that's another front where they're not, that people, if everyone signs up and gets like have enough points to have monthly Game Pass, so they're not paying for it anyways because they're going through the rewards points. So it's like doing this now, they're, it's like they're getting money. It's a weird thing, like right now, because it's not, they haven't came out and they haven't said this is black and white, this is what you're getting, this is what you're not getting, this is what changed, this is staying the same. So we're still with that is what I'm hopefully waiting for.
So what you're saying is it might be in the best interest to, within the next month or two, to take all your rewards points and cash those in for what do you call them, Game Pass Ultimate cards, so that way you could fuel that into the upgrade for the host.
Well, they've already put out a conversion rate for, so if you have 30 days of Ultimate, it's going to translate to 18 days of Family Plan. So there's already a day conversion that they've outlined and stuff. So
yeah, I'm curious how it's going to work for us when we have 3 plans. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it was on Boomer. Someone was saying like it combines all their years or whatever into one thing, right?
Yeah,
right. I think so.
So if it's like X amount of years, they do that conversion and tell you this is what you get. This is your new expiration date for Game Pass,
Right.
Family Plan. But yeah, if you have like what you're trying to say, Fuzzy, if each let's say if everyone has their individual Game Pass and they decide to go on a Family Plan, if you have those reward points, I can't say that you get to keep them because we don't know the literature yet, but could be that they go away. But then do you start over? I don't know. So if you
they can't just take them away. You have to be able to redeem them.
Well, maybe I don't know how that works because that was one of the questions. I think someone I believe with the Family Plan, that was one of the questions someone asked, and of course, people are like, I don't know, maybe, so that's something that hopefully Xbox addresses in the coming days.
All right, let me ask you guys this. This is changing the course here.
September 18th, yes.
September 18th, October 18th. Do y'all think there's anything to that tweet today? I'm just saying, like, all right. So
to be honest, I think they're just ramping up their Twitter marketing to make the Twitter look active for when it drops on PlayStation Plus.
So that's a very pessimistic way of looking at it, Jasper. Come on. All right.
No, I'm with you, Mav.
All right, so
18th.
What I'm talking about, guys, Deathloop's official Twitter account just tweeted today the word time.
There was 3 tweets to that thread.
Then then they followed it up and then said visionaries, which it has to do with the game itself. And then they followed that up with another comment that said Deathloop. Right? Now, my brain starts working, and I was DMing with Pong, and Pong happened to actually bring up Deathloop in a DM. We were in a conversation right before I was about to DM this that I saw. It was crazy. And what was interesting is because there's been a lot of discussion since the announcement that it's coming to PS Plus Extra, and some of the Xbox community saying, hey, don't worry, it's coming to Xbox. I just can't say it yet. Right. And then some of us are like, well, we don't know that. You know what I mean? It seems less likely now. I had actually went live and talked a lot about that. I think it was on Wednesday. Right. But now, I mean, I don't know. Like, that seems very cryptic. Like they can't say something and they're trying to say something. So they're just trying to get across what they can. And if they're not allowed to say it and they're trying to maybe get a hint across, what better way than a cryptic tweet that has to do with the game, right? That they can say, oh, we didn't mean that. Now, the interesting thing is we're in the month of September. Now, I'm in Central Time, so that doesn't necessarily mean anything. But a lot of the world runs kind of like and focuses on East Coast time when announcements and things like that happen, right? So if you focus on East Coast time zone, that would have been at 10:18 at the time that timestamp happened, right? So 10:18. Or maybe 9:18 if they were just thinking about me.
Well, they are tweet. In Austin.
Well, not that Arcane. Arcane's in Lyon.
Yeah.
Lyon or whatever you pronounce it in France.
I think the social media is out of Austin. So that's why I was on.
I wonder if the social media team's in Austin. That is a good point.
They are.
Okay.
They are.
That's interesting. Right. Okay. Because, so 9:18, guys. Right. 9:18 that's a Sunday, so that wouldn't make a lot of sense, right? But maybe that's when they can say something.
That's what I'm saying, because 9:15 is the day. So 9:16 would be like they could say something. You know, I mean, like they could if it's a year,
1 year.
The
right.
1 year. So they're possibly like, all right. Who knows? Maybe they drop it like fucking
how
at midnight.
At the beginning of this podcast, we were talking about how Phil used the word several. We're literally breaking down one word right now.
Yes,
but it's a tweet only with one word in it. They did that for a reason. Why else did they do that? To just say time, right?
That, and I think the other 2 posts were just to throw us in a loop to be like, okay, what do these mean? I don't think they mean anything. I think time at 9:18 is possible.
Well, you can even say the word visionaries means like look into this. Vision.
It
right?
could.
You know what I
If
mean?
you-
Like,
If you look into the like time, kind
9:18.
of like dictates it's like talking about maybe the loop of the game because time's the core element to the game. You loop back
Yeah.
in time or whatever and
But
redo stuff.
we're not being logical here. There.
I know, and that's the problem.
Yes.
I'm being logical with this because they made a one-word tweet. It is cryptic. I'm like, that's cryptic, right? I mean,
And
a
then
one-word tweet.
visionaries or whatever is the people that you kill in the game. You're assigned target. So if you put those
Yes.
together, you get like
Time
kill
assigned
or whatever. Yeah. So Deathloop.
target.
It's yeah.
Yeah, I don't buy it. I'm buying the fact that tweet was made at 9:18 a.m. Central Standard Time, and they said the word time. And you know what? We're in September right now, and we know that the whole exclusivity deal may be coming to an end in the middle of this month with the ability to speak on things, right? Pong, am I being too conspiracy theorist here and too speculative? Am I looking into this too much?
Yes, you are.
Damn it.
I mean, obviously anything could happen. We've seen it happen on social media. So anything's possible, but I don't think so. I don't think they would go to that length to be that cryptic to hope that a couple people caught on to it. I think that this is, again, if it is available, if they're going to be able to talk about this, as we talked about last night, and I said to Phil or whoever listens to all these shows for him, you go big the minute that you can talk about it. You have an wire prepared for that morning, and you instantly talk about it. But I think in this case with social media, I think we've gotten too used to these creative social media managers, and they put out stuff, and we've seen this happen when Xbox and another company have been going back and forth, whether it's Square Enix or whoever, and we used to get in a tizzy about that when Microsoft was in acquisition season before the Activision Blizzard deal. What does this mean? Is this possible? I just think that this is, like Jasper said, they are kind of getting active due to the fact that they are starting to promote it again because it is coming to PlayStation Premium. So I think they're just getting back kind of into the consciousness of people on social media again with their account. I think that's more likely the scenario. Again, 9/18 is a Sunday, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. 10/18 is a Thursday, that would make more sense, but really at the end of the day, is it going to be just a month after that they wait? You don't wait if you have the ability to talk about this. That's what I said last night. So that's my firm belief, is that this is a little bit different than that. So I don't know, Mav. Like I put in the DMs today, I'm just curious if they came out, if they prepared this entire time to put out a director's cut of Deathloop, and they put out a director's cut and sold it separately on other, on PlayStation or whatever else, could they get around the Game Pass, any blocking of the Game Pass deal if they just put the director's cut in the Game Pass instead of the regular edition? Would that circumvent any kind of blockage? That would be my biggest curiosity, if there's some way, some workaround, because they could add content, they could package. I think it did have DLC. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
So they could do the upgrades that they've been talking about, that Psycho's been really excited for, with some of the features, FSR and all that kind of stuff, putting in there, and then add all the DLC in there together and call it a director's cut and just throw it out there and sell it for full price on PlayStation. It'd be interesting if they could do that.
Could they just be like, we're giving the Game of the Year edition or whatever to Microsoft Publishing, so it's a different publisher now, so they can do whatever the fuck they want with it?
That's what I'm saying. I'm curious how that works, because obviously with Death Stranding, right, there's a director's cut. Well, Game Pass doesn't get that. We get the old version, which was the 505 games. Was the director's cut also published by 505 games, or was that a Sony published game at that point? I didn't look into that. So I'm curious.
No, it was director cut.
Yeah. That's what I'm asking, though. If it was different publishing,
PC got.
Huh? Go ahead.
No, PC Game Pass got the director's cut.
No, they didn't.
No, they got the base version.
They got the base version.
Did they?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
It's kind of in between. They didn't get any of the
Okay.
specific director's cut stuff, but they did get some updated combat stuff,
Yeah.
but not the full combat.
Not the
stuff.
full bad. So
is Deathloop out on PC?
Yeah, it's been on.
Who-
PC
yeah,
for like a
who
year.
published it on PC?
505.
Deathloop.
Deathloop could come
or-
into PC Game Pass. You know what I mean? Like, why not?
Yeah,
Oh,
but I mean, unless
no.
if the deal's with Arcane or Bethesda Publishing, then they can't do that. That's what I'm saying. They would have to change publisher on that or
Right,
change
they
the
have
name
to
of the
change
game.
publisher.
If Bethesda published it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so that'd be that. I'd just be really curious if there's some workaround, like a game of the year, like Jasper just said, or a director's cut, if they could pull that off and drop that in there.
Right. Obviously,
Yeah,
Bethesda
because-
has probably published their own damn game on PC,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm looking at this as just silver lining, hopeful thinking.
Yeah,
Time, you know,
of course.
the word time.
Oh,
And I
wow.
will add to this, guys. That somebody said, "What's with all these one-word tweets?" And they said, "Just speaking truths this Friday morning.
Okay.
Just speaking truths."
Well, who knows? Maybe they are. Again,
Just-
they're underneath the umbrella now, so maybe they are being really.
there's
cryptic right
some
now
kind
on
of
that front.
truth to time.
Maybe.
Time is a true word. It's a true statement. Time.
Mhm.
What does that mean? Rack your head around that and get back to me every chat. Leave in the comments what do you below. Do you think Deathloop is coming on September 18th? Fuzzy, am I crazy? Do you think there's something?
No,
What?
See,
Yes,
this
you're on
is
my
what-
side. Let's go.
see.
Yeah!
It's been a weird thing because I remember hearing them. It was some sort of interview that they did a while ago when they couldn't really talk about it coming to Xbox, but they said when that does occur, there will be some additional stuff or some sort of updated content. And this was before the whole photo mode thing had dropped. So I'm hoping that them, becoming more active again is partly due to it coming over to Xbox versus, it just going into PS Plus, which I don't know. This whole PS Plus thing seems like Sony is purposely kind of, letting the clock run out, and then at the 11th hour, it's like, oh yeah, we want it now in our subscription service type of thing. So I'm just hoping there's crossplay between the two. But yeah, that 10/18 time frame that they tweeted, I think just more recently Xbox has always had double meaning or some sort of like more meaning to their weird or cryptic posts, whether it be a picture or whether it like the whole Death Stranding, background update or something like that. Yeah, there's something to this more than them just talking about the basics of the game, because yes, you're focused on like this endless time loop with the visionaries, and you're supposed to kill the loop and kill the visionaries to end the loop. But I think this has something more to do with them being, cryptic for, no other reason other than to get us Xbox fans excited or at least talking about stuff in preparation for the announcement.
Right. I was trying to look back and see if they have a history of doing this.
yeah. I was scrolling back. I couldn't really. Find
I couldn't find. I looked earlier. I couldn't find anything where they've done something like that before. You know what I mean? So when I look at it, and do they do this stuff often? Right? What is their usual kind of activity? And if I can't find something like that, then it kind of makes me wonder, like, well, is there something to it? And they don't have a history of making these kind of tweets whatsoever. So it's just interesting. It doesn't really fit in with their normal like social media type thing that they're doing. So
News
it could
Zoomer probably got the job and just.
it could have just been a fun. Yeah, it could have just been a fun thing, right? You're right. It could have just been a fun little thing they're doing. But
Well, they drop it Sunday 11:59 at 9:18, so it's Monday pretty much where you get it,
Right.
and then usually news drops Monday mornings.
yeah.
F it, run with it. We're in speculation town. That's exactly what it means. Everybody,
See?
mark
Let's go.
September
That's what I'm
18th
talking about.
on your calendars and get ready for Deathloop news coming to
We got-
Xbox.
50-50
all
chance.
above.
September 18th or October 18th. Something's going to happen with Deathloop. 50-50 chance. Either one. Okay. I'll stake nothing on it. We'll see.
France is 6 hours ahead, so that's a whole nother thing. I went down that rabbit hole. I was like, what does that mean?
That would suck because that'd be like April.
Yeah, April of next year. Like,
April 18 is finally coming. That would suck. All right, guys. So, did you get the Victor Allstain super chat, Psycho? Great show. Shout out to the panel.
No.
Okay, $2 super chat. Appreciate you, Victor Allstein. Appreciate you so much. It says great show. Shout out to the panel. Well, shout out to you, sir, and everybody else hanging out in the chat. Lots of amazing people hanging out today. Very active. Love it. I love how active our chat is. You guys rock. I've seen chats with 400, 500, 600 people in it where it's like not really anybody talking. It's crazy. But you guys are active and I love it.
Let's not get nasty.
Chris Jones, shout out to you with a $2 super chat. Appreciate it, sir. Says Fuzzy, a good dad, want to adopt me.
Yeah.
Do you want to adopt Chris Jones, Fuzzy? I'll let you answer that.
Yeah.
I only have a 3-bedroom house. I don't have any additional room at this time.
He's fine with you sleeping on the couch. He'll take your bed. Shout out to Chris Jones. He's getting more excited about Ayuden Chronicles by the minute. You can tell with his posting about it and all the articles.
With each throbbing post, you can see.
Yeah.
It.
Do you have I want to know with Chris, do you have a tattoo of all 100 characters individually? That would be nice. Got to get working on it, bro.
That's a back tat if I've ever heard of one.
That's a back tat.
Yep. You need a lot of room for that.
Just make them really small.
Alvin with the $2 super chat says, "How about them Xbox Japan numbers?" Shout out to Alvin. Appreciate you.
20,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
When's the last time they sold that much?
Launch.
Never.
Launch.
Well, did they sell that much in the 360 era in Japan?
I'm sure.
Yeah. So most since the 360 era, at least, right?
No, the most since the series launch, right? How many did they sell at series launch? They sold a ton at series launch too.
I think it was they did 20,000 like launch day or launch week or something, and then this I think it was just over 17,000 or around 18,000 this past week. So
what's driving that in the middle of September? Is it Soul Hackers 2 and things like that launting? You think maybe
it's momentum. It's momentum.
Price hike of PlayStation.
Yeah. Price hike.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no. That's true though, Psycho.
Yeah.
It's really is momentum at this point. You're starting to see. Again, a lot of it has to do with how much they can ship over there, and we know that that's still fluctuating. But a lot of it is actual momentum. We can't, again, is it comparable to Switch or PlayStation? No, of course not. But the fact that they're starting to get that 360 feeling again over there, if they match the 360 with the series consoles, that'll be a huge W.
No, because on top of that, you got to add the users that are in the ecosystem that don't even have a console, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So if they match console-wise what they did the 360, it's going to be gigantic. They should pop champagne for that. Absolutely. And I think that's what you're starting to see, a continuous. Every time they put more over there, more sells, which means people are catching on about the value that we talk about. That, hey, if you get a Series S and you get an Xbox Ultimate, or Game Pass or whatever the case may be, you also have access to the cloud. And with their mobile fanaticism over there, everything is mobile. They now can play on their phones, and they understand that. So it's
Persona is going to be playable in so many different ways if you can access it that way. And also, when Wolong comes out, add that. I think it's going to be highly anticipated around the world for people that like those kind of games for sure. Then you have more stuff coming, right? Like just left and right. That's more for different varieties of gamers, right?
So Liza P could be huge over there as well.
Yeah, it could.
Sure. It could catch on over there. Yeah. It's a combination of look at Sony can't get out of their own way. Did you guys see? I'm sure you guys all saw Ains. Shout out to Porsche Power. His post about
his collector's
Firefly edition. Yeah. Now, did you see it was picked up by IGN? It was picked up.
Wow,
by
I didn't see IGN pick that up.
Yes, IGN actually wrote an article when we started.
I know they were bitching about that edition the other day. IGN and then because the people were scalping it for $500.
500. I saw one for 1,000 today on eBay. for the Firefly edition, but they actually picked up the story because there's so many people reporting damaged packages. Because for anybody who doesn't know, PlayStation is sending out the $100 Firefly Collector's Edition of The Last of Us Part 1 remake, and they're sending it out in basically manila envelopes is what they're doing.
Just a yellow bubble mailer.
Yeah.
That's
a
it.
yellow bubble for $100 edition. That's what they're using, and the boxes are coming all damaged. Go look at Porsche Power Ains.
It was
Awesome
surprising
season
is the amount of people in his comment that had the same issue.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, classic Sony customer service.
I knew they
When
wouldn't do
he
anything for me.
called and spent the time on the phone, multiple calls, multiple emails to people, do you think that they offer to replace it?
No.
Nope. Too bad. You can return it, or we'll just give you a 20% discount off your next purchase.
They're not making any more of those. It was a limited run, they said. So
That's
you're-
too
you're
bad.
screwed.
Now
Yeah.
they're catching flack right now. This could become a big giant issue. So now that everybody else is picking up on it.
I
So
think
why
they're
not?
going to end up
Like, if
having
you're gonna
to
give a
do something about it.
Well, if you're going to give a discount on the damaged good, not on the next purchase.
Right.
Why the F am I going to
Right.
buy another thing from you if you can't
Right.
get stuff right the first time?
Exactly, Fuzz. This is, again, just like when you try to return something through the PlayStation Store. If you bought it digitally, they cancel out your entire account.
And people
Right, they
buy
ban
with
those
this-
entire account.
with this
editions.
coupon, it cancels out the $50 upcharge we just sold you on the console.
Yep.
And people buy those editions for the niceness of
Right.
them, not because it's just
Yes.
buying the game, right?
Right.
Like when you buy that, you want that collector's edition. You want that special edition. You want that version. You want it to be nice and pretty. You can set it on a shelf. You know what I mean? And 5 years later, you can be like, I got the Firefly edition of Last of Us, guys. Did you see this? You know what? You remember when this came out? You know, like not be like, hey, look at this shit. You know, they sent it to me in a fucking mailer. Yeah. Well, you know what I mean? It's what it is. Blah, 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 blah.
On top of that, you're talking about the hardcore of your hardcore fan base that is buying a game for the third time in
Yes.
most cases, and not only just buying the regular edition, but buying the $100 Firefly Special Edition for a remake of a game that doesn't have everything included in it. Are you kidding me? And you're going to treat them like this? Again, that starts to add up. Everybody can say it's a small thing. No, it adds up. This is a part of all this bad news cycle that Sony's been going through. It really does.
Yeah.
When you say that out loud, it just makes it seem that much worse.
Doesn't
I
it, Buzz?
bought it for the
Yes.
third time for
Right.
an extra fee, and
Yes.
it was shipped in a baggie.
Right.
Awesome.
I saw
There
when
was-
Ains posted that. He was like, I'm going to try to contact Sony support. I was like, good luck. You ain't getting your money back. Son. You fucking Sony.
Now I was also in there looking, and there was one gentleman that posted, it's like, you didn't get, like, they had like fancy PlayStation wrapping, cardboard to help kind of like, you know, cushion it so it and not none of the edges be crushed. And when we saw Ains, it was just like, it was just shoved in that manila envelope, and it was like, and that was it. And the backing was stuck to the box, so now when he opened it, that was attached to his white box, and
Yeah.
that was I was like, oh.
Honestly, though, I don't think
Ugh.
Sony's going to get the blame for it. I think they're going to push it on UPS because it's
Of
probably
course.
a UPS problem anyway. Because it's probably the distribution warehouse on like the West Coast only uses envelopes, and the one on the East Coast uses fucking cardboard boxes.
But Sony can dictate what they use for that shipping, right?
Exactly.
They probably
really
didn't say though. They just
Right,
said
but
ship
that-
the game.
But that's Sony's fault for
Yeah.
doing that, right? But
Mhm.
Jasper also has to look at the packaging that they put the PS5 in. So
That
it
cheap
definitely
cardboard
be a
that rips when
cost-cutting
you
move because
do
they
it
put that packaging was shit. Okay,
Yeah.
egg cartons,
Egg cartons, yeah, exactly.
and the
What the fuck?
flimsiest cardboard ever. No.
Yeah.
I think this is
No,
a pattern with Sony cutting corners wherever they can.
Well,
Like they did on the
me just
PlayStation
having
again with making it lighter.
Yeah.
Also,
We like a premium experience, except for unboxing.
Right.
with handling UPS in the past, they dictated what happened. They said use the cheapest ship
Right.
methods, or they're like, well, how much is it going to cost us if we do it box versus envelope? And they were like, oh, we save 20 cents on each of these. Yeah, let's save 20 cents.
Yep. Jim's like, the price increase hasn't gone into effect yet. We need to cut corners still.
absolutely
It's
crazy.
terrible. It's terrible. It's crazy.
On one of their like premier titles for this year. You know what I mean? Too. That's just like, imagine if that was Halo or for Xbox, or like if it was Starfield or something. People would be.
Imagine if they shut. I wonder what what they're going to ship the God of War the big editions in. That'll be
plastic bag.
A bubble mailer.
No, the boxed edition with the statue. All they're going to do is slap a shipping label on it and put it out there. They won't even put it in.
I think they were going to tape a bunch of bubble mailers together and put some priority tape around it. You know,
we put it in 2.
Hey, we put a fragile sticker on there, guys. It's not our fault. You know what I mean?
Fragile.
We can't even afford stickers at this point, so we're just writing on Sharpie on the box. Your address.
Straight up Sharpie.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, oh my God. I
Nothing
can't.
says premium like marker on a box.
Yeah.
I can't with. If I bought $100 fucking special edition and it came in like that, and then they said, "Tough luck. Here's a coupon." Yeah, that'd be the end of it. I'd be nope. I mean, that's brick and mortar stores when they come in, the only time that they come through. At least fucking Amazon has actual boxes. It doesn't matter. It could be a goddamn sticker.
Time I've ordered a device from Microsoft Store, it's been like fucking Fort Knox to get that shit open.
Yeah.
My headphones, my custom controller were both freaking really tightly wrapped in there, like no damage.
Xbox cares.
Right.
There's a difference.
I have actually exclusive footage of what they're going to be shipping the God of War Ragnarok actual special edition in.
Fucking Kroger bag.
This is what they're going to be shipping God of War special edition in, guys. You can pick it up. It's the CD sleeves, the paper CD sleeves. You don't remember these?
Oh, from here it looks like a trash bag.
Yeah, here. It has a closer look. The CD sleeves, you see that it's made out of paper.
Yeah,
and you got your nice little clear thing.
Yeah, well, because it's thick. I'm like, why is it so thick? But it's multiples. That's why. I see it now.
It'll come with a little tube of super glue to put your statue back.
And the special edition also includes a condom because you're going to need to get fucked again by Sony next week.
Wow! Ending the show on a bang.
Yeah, they're just gonna write God of War special edition with a pen, the blue ink on top of that,
and the God of War R's backwards.
Written in crayon. Much like the CMA's response. All right, guys.
Later, Trin. Have a good night, sis.
Take it easy. I appreciate it.
Night, Trin.
Everybody in chat, you guys rock again. So many amazing people. Razor, Def Leppard, Trinity. What just happened? Talos Ray. We got Vic the Click. J Mac was here. Alvin. Lord Roughness was here as well. Spooky Sprocket, the amazing one. Hey, Spooky. Shout out to you, dude. Check these out. I don't know if you can see.
Hey, whoa.
Spooky straws. The Sour Punch straws, but spooky.
Ooh.
Yeah. Just for you, bro. Special edition. They also say breathtaking on the back. It's too small.
You don't think of them when you eat them.
Oh, when you put them in your mouth. You were about to say that.
I was about to. But I was like, I'll pull back. I'll be back.
Pull out? What?
Whoa. Yeah. I think of him every time I eat one.
He was eating them during the show.
I was like, wow, this is.
I was playing Halo.
This is like what Sour Punch straws would be like if Spooky made them. That's what I think. Shout out to Chris Jones. It's Timmy.
Your
as
chats
well.
have been really.
It really did.
Was that baby?
Cat?
Your chats have been amazing lately.
Oh yeah, you guys freaking rock.
I thought you're a cat. I thought you said
Boogie. What up?
I thought you said tats.
My tats.
I was like, we all heard different things.
You guys wouldn't know what kind of tats I got. No, I don't have any tats.
Now Razor NZ, have a good one over there. He's on Saturday time already. He's having lunch.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
Yeah,
Like
enjoy
3
your
p.m.
fucking
over
lunch.
New Zealand already. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys all rock. If I didn't get to your name,
Boogie. Good to see you,
I
man.
appreciate you all, guys. We're gonna have some fun tonight. I'm gonna play some games. Cyber Gunter, what's up, man? I'm gonna shout you out to RSJ. What up? All right, so appreciate you guys. Hey, first of my heart, lovely wife Caitlin. You're about to hit 15K on TikTok.
I am
Holy
very,
shit.
very close.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find me there at Caitlin_fancy and on Twitter at CaitlinX0615. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, right on.
Hargeet, good to see you, brother.
Yeah, what's up, Hargeet?
Shout out to him. I got a Game Pass code from him like last week or whatever. So
yeah, nice,
whoa,
Jasper.
Nice.
Was it because you're a well-known podcaster, or was it just because you got lucky?
I meant to say something about that in my outro.
Oh, were you? Oh, let me do your outro again. Hey, first of my heart.
No, I don't know what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something
Okay.
about like, I don't know, when you came downstairs to see me when I was doing my makeup earlier, I was like, "Oh, hi, do you still love me?" You know, because you're like,
yeah, she was
big time now because he's big
like
time.
this
That was funny.
well-known, super
streamer.
well-known.
Yeah.
That was funny. That's so funny. So, for those of you that don't know, I won a game today, like from the Free Code
Major
Friday.
From who?
From Free Code Friday.
Major Nelson. So Free Code Friday contest, like
Great
Major
contest.
Nelson has his contest every Friday, and
Can you do your Larry Herb voice?
I won today, guys. It was absolutely awesome. I won the code for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R, which is streaming before from the contest, and it didn't take long before somebody on Twitter was like, "I think Larry just gave it to you because you have a well-known Xbox podcast." I'm like, "Really, dude?" Well, first off, Larry Herb has no clue who the fuck I am, or does not care about anything that's going on here. And yeah, no, for sure. But that's just thought that was absolutely fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Caitlin, does Larry follow you on TikTok though? Does he know you?
No.
Oh,
Yeah, Larry's in her DMs.
I think it's just like a bunch of like moms that follow me on TikTok.
A bunch of moms. Yeah.
You getting them into gaming?
Mav said I should not do any gaming stuff there.
On a separate
you-
TikTok, you should.
You should tell them to hit you up in DMs, and then you give them that 10% discount code
On
for
what?
Xbox. I don't know, just fucking.
Oh.
Just whenever you bake your next cake, just be like, "I'm making a cake for my son," but it's actually your husband. It's like he wanted a gaming themed cake or whatever. So,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey,
Y'all are funny.
Lord Master Jasper, where can everybody find you, bro?
check me out, Lord Jasper on Twitter, Lord Master Jasper on YouTube. I've been kind of doing some back-end stuff on my stream, so it's getting a little better on the OBS side of things.
Sweetness.
Also, this weekend, I'm not sure what's going to come out, but I'm talking to Web Dave on his show sometime soon. Don't know exactly when that's coming out, but
Sweet.
check that out in the future. Stay tuned for that. And FSP is Mondays at 10 p.m. Eastern to check that out on this channel, as always. And Xbox Ultimate is 9 p.m. Eastern on this channel. And tune in tomorrow. Something cool, not necessarily gaming related, but something really cool is the Artemis rocket may launch again tomorrow. So check that out. if
Oh,
you're interested
really?
in space
I
stuff.
tried to tune into
Yeah.
that the other day when it was supposed to.
It got delayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said they got delayed for engine trouble.
Yeah.
That scared the shit out of me. Like for
Well, no one's on it yet.
Well, no one's
It's
on
unmanned. It's unmanned.
I don't care. The
it. He did not know that.
There's-
He just thought
there's
Someone-
something that's gonna
someone
bad
was going
happen.
to the moon.
Speaking of going to the moon, the metal fellow from outer space, the one and only Psychonauts. Where can everybody find you, sir?
Again, thank you everyone for coming out. Fantastic show to everyone on this panel, and chat always bringing that heat. Love it. And you can follow me everywhere, social media at Psychonauts8. You can follow me here Mondays, FSP, 10 o'clock, and Fridays, of course, Xbox Ultimate. And I will, as Mav mentioned earlier, I will be gone for the next 3 Xbox Ultimates. We'll be going out of town, helping some family with some things, and I'll be back after that. And but yeah, and I'll be on another 2 different PM and PM Thursday. I'll be, as Matt mentioned, I'll be there, and then another one but I will mention that once I come back and we figure out a time and whatnot. So again,
when is
thanks.
Dave Matthews' next concert?
Tonight, tomorrow, Sunday in the Gorge in George Washington, the state.
Wow, you know where all he's performing every night?
Well, yeah, it's Labor Day weekend. Come on.
Oh my god.
God, is that a thing? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Is that real?
Yes,
Labor Day weekend?
Labor Day weekend. Because they always play Labor
That's
Day
amazing.
weekend at the Gorge. A 3-day show. It's fucking great. It's 3 days of camping, getting fucking hanging out,
man.
drinking.
Get
Hey.
them
This is so great,
movies.
dude.
Yeah, you go find some mushrooms, but great time.
Oh wow.
Mushrooms and moms. Hell fucking yeah.
Vic,
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Mushrooms and moms.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Vic
That
the
is
Click
what it's
may have
about.
just opened up a can of worms here. Vic the Click with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you as always, Vic. I hope you're having some beer shots or whatever you do when we end the show. As always, it says amazing episode, guys and ladies. Since that podcast is dead, cry, 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 fun pop. What you think of She-Hulk? Thanks again, Psycho. Jasper, what do you think of She-Hulk?
It's something. The CGI's ass, but it shows something.
It's a sitcom. It's not like what I expected, really, but it's okay. I want something
No sitcom
grand
face.
to happen that makes me care more about where the story's going.
Marvel can't have everything fantastic. Yeah. On that note,
You didn't like twerking and with Megan Thee Stallion?
okay. From what the reviewers have said, they all have said the first 4 episodes suck. They've all said that.
From what I've been hearing,
there's
the show's
only
fucking
6
amazing from
episodes, right?
reviewers, But
No, when this was viewed by I forget who, like the first 4 episodes that they saw, they said it sucked. So they hope that however many, if it's 6 or 8, we don't know. Probably
everyone I've been
6.
seeing is putting the show like fucking 8s and 9s. I'm just like, what the fuck are you watching?
Yeah, it's like it's mid at best. Like, yeah, it's cool to see. I love She-Hulk. Great to see that character on the screen, but the way that she's being portrayed to me is it's bad. I don't like it. It's like
I know.
yeah, I'm not even go there.
I know.
but
Pong's getting excited for that Lord of the Rings show, right? Though
I
I'm sure he's
watched
seen some amazing
I
stuff of that
watched
today.
the first episode about that, and oh god.
I'm gonna.
God.
I haven't seen it yet, so we're gonna.
Yeah,
we're
we
gonna
might have to do an impromptu. fun
I don't
pop.
know if we can talk about that. That might be a little too heated.
Okay. All right. We'll skip around that one. Again, thanks, Vic. Appreciate that, dude. The always fuzzy one himself, Fuzzy Belvedere. Where can everybody find your fuzziness?
Well, just thank you for having me on here with you guys, and thanks to everybody that came out to watch us tonight, and those that'll catch it later on in the replay. For anybody that just wants to hear my rambling on anything gaming, just follow me on Twitter, fuzzy_Belvedere. Tomorrow on Shop Podcast with Pong and PTK Blam on PTK Blam's channel, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. FSP Monday with with Psychonauts, with Lore Master Jasper, 3-Bit and Mav on Fun Speculation right here on this channel at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Breakfast with Boom, 10 a.m. on Friday morning with Dreadpool, Web Dave, and with Boom at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then right back here at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the family.
Right on, man. I appreciate you as always. Again, Alvin with a $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Alvin. Dude, Alvin, thank you so much. He says Shulky is the most comic accurate character in the MCU behind only Steve Rogers. She's totally comic accurate to the sensational She-Hulk run. LOL. I appreciate that take. I honestly had never read one of the She-Hulk comics, so I can't personally comment on that. However, like I said, I'm enjoying what the show is. I just want something serious to happen at some point to where I care more about where the story's going. That's it.
Yeah, I just don't like the little agendas that it feels like it's trying to push.
Yeah, I don't necessarily care about that. I just want a good, like, like something big to happen that's important to the grander scheme of things to give me more of a reason to watch it. Right. All right. The encyclopedia of gaming.
Yeah, you did me, bro.
I know. I almost started with Psycho.
Pause.
Did you, bro? We done that. At Pong Soul, the encyclopedia. Fuck it, just go.
Just fucking go. All right, let's get out of here. Everybody, it's been amazing.
I'm sorry.
It's been amazing. What a Friday night. Lots of laughs, lots of good discussion. Again, chat, you guys, obviously, we're all amazing. Love everybody that shows up here on Friday nights, both the panel, the chat. You guys are all just special. And never forget that. Listen, you know the drill. Pong Soul Xbox, Pong Soul on Twitter. Tomorrow morning, set the alarms right now because Living Split Screen is coming to you. I just figured out that I never did a video this week. That's how busy I've been this week. Crazy. But we will be back. My brother from another Steel Rain and I will be talking about everything that happened. So it probably will be closer to 4 hours, if not more, tomorrow. But buckle up for 3+ if we got something going on. But otherwise, be there 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, 3 p.m. UK BST time. We'll send out a reminder. So please, if you see it, share it out. It does help me and Steel a lot. We did pass 600 subscribers this past week live on the show. So we are getting some more traction, which is great. But we only do one show a week. So we do need the help out there from the community. Appreciate you all for that. And then, like Fuzzy said, tomorrow night, the Shop podcast. Man, PTK, Fuzzy, myself, we're going to have a lot to say tomorrow night. And, of course, you guys get to run the second half of the show when he opens it up for questions or just simply comments or topics that you guys want us to talk about. So bring them. But be there, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. The best way to end your Saturday night. That's the Shop podcast, PTK Blam's channel. Next week, I will be on Xbox Factor podcast. But even if I'm not there on those weeks, you can still got to show up because Double Barrel Gaming is the place to be every Tuesday with Mr. Boomstick, the man, and some of the greatest panels you will ever find. 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time, Tuesday. And then Thursday, of course, it will be PM in the PM, Pong and Mav in the PM. Go check out last night's episode. We had a lot of good talks last night. But this week's going to be extra special with a little bit of Psycho included. That's right.
It's PPM.
Psychonauts is going to be there. Right. PMP. Maybe we'll go with that. But be there anyway, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time, right here on Fun Speculations channel. You guys know already, but I'm going to always remind you, it is the golden age of gaming. For everybody who's got an extra day off because of the holiday weekend, enjoy it. Have some fun. But play some games, play what you love what you play, and I'm going to talk to you all real soon, tomorrow morning. Be there.
Right on, bro.
Mav, what's going on with you, man?
All right, Mav, where can everybody find your well-knownness?
Oh, we don't have to find him if he's so well known.
PMP in the PM.
No, I appreciate everybody that has helped us with the channel, help us grow and everything like that. We're not big time. Larry Herb does not give me free stuff and everything like that. This is a very small channel, obviously, and most of you guys are aware of this. So appreciate all of you who spend the time here with us, even though we are not big time. You like the conversations that we have, and it means a lot to us. So on Thursdays, like Pong said, we got PM the PM. We got this week we got Psycho, who's going to be an amazing guest as well for his first time on that show. But also, we also have 2 more guests coming up. We usually don't have guests on PM and the PM. We do from time to time, but we're going to have like a 3-week run coming up here where we're going to have some pretty awesome guests coming your way as well. So stay tuned for some announcements on that in the future. And then we also have, like I said, Xbox Ultimate, every all this stuff. These guys already talked about all the other shows we got. But I got a request from Razer, to say goodbye, like one of the Halo interns from 343. So from Razer, something that I think, what do we need to bring to the show? What do we need to bring to Fun Speculation, intern? We need to talk about games. Can we start doing that? Talk about games? Yeah, we can start doing that. What about on Xbox Ultimate? Maybe talk about Xbox? I'll put it on the board,
Can you make that more rewarding?
Sure. I appreciate you guys. I keep telling you that, as always. But hey, guys, for real though, have a good one, and I hope you have a fantastic night. And we'll see you soon. I'll probably be playing a lot of games this weekend too, so I'll see you all there. Have a good one, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye, everybody.